the world that walks the line. There's a rare few who think outside the box together for the crew. To break the equations, not bound to any rule. Exposing to the world the universe is all view. It takes the talent of the craftsman, it takes the mind of the fool, to make the vision realize energy and matter in a duel. To a break, through a duel. The old man Bills was running through his head. Cheryl probably got it hiding under his bed. Penny up to Annie making power for days. Don't listen to a word that the straight dope says. Mike building batteries that power a ship. Victor comes and talking math, that's the water spiral dip. Sean chucking plasma bolts a mile long. Sheila on the video making tone chucking prongs. Burning breaking matter, they said it couldn't be done. And to all the people in the chat, I know you're having fun. So it's time to spend your Saturday with the dope and old man Bills.
Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Nathan, otherwise known as Old Man Bills. Joe, what's going on, man?
Hey everybody, happy Friday. Today's fun day.
Oh yeah. We're gonna eat some wings. Old Man Bill's gonna pull out his dentures, man, and we're really gonna get going here with some hot stuff.
Oh yeah, we have all the good stuff going on today, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, we got a coil to give away too, man. I'm excited. So, guys, we actually should I announce it now, Joe, or a little bit later?
What are you announcing now?
The weight.
I think that we need people to be in here to make sure that everybody that put their guess, is here when when that happens. But hang in there with that. We'll get it.
Okay. Got a lot of stuff going. Joe's itching to eat his wings already, man. He's good to go.
Yeah, man, all set up.
Yeah,
hey, listen, as always, it was thrown together in the last minute in between work and everything else, but hey, it got done. That's what matters, right?
Nice. Yeah, well, I had to go in and clean off all the island and everything to get this thing done. So, all right. I'll go ahead and show mine real quick, Joe, on how I set up mine.
The old man Bills is broken in the head. People not seeing reality has put him in the red. Where conscious and spirituality been stricken from the norm and replaced with the ignorance of basic magnetic form. The geometry of God keeps running through his head. That's what makes old man Bills broken in the head. The old man Bills. The old man Bills. Spheres of destiny are spinning in his mind, making him travel back and forth in time, battling the establishment for just a little recognition. Has him forcing the world to understand his premonition. That world will have all the technology in the end, even if it means his life will fail to extend.
Sorry.
Awesome, dude. Those things are looking good. Honestly, that's right about the way I would have made them if I would have had a little bit more time. I just didn't trust to get it done in the oven in the small amount of time that I had left. So you guys will see how I did mine once my video pops up.
Ben, what's going on?
Shit.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh,
hey,
man.
Ben. What's going on, man? Long time.
Figure I'd check out what all the excitement was about.
Oh,
well, you did promise us about a month ago that you were going to be here. I don't see you dressed as a wizard, though, but half-kept promises are just as good.
Oh. Hey, Ben, he's trying to kill me. Look at this. You see this? Every time that I watch this online, somebody feels like they're dying. Like a little bit of their soul was taken from them as soon as they had it. I think Joe set me up.
Yeah, man. You know I was setting you up.
Are you sure you wanna take this journey?
Oh, come on. This is an easy one. We're gonna have fun with it.
Well, you know what? If I die on air, man, you can have all my coils.
Can I have one at least? Like, for posterity? Give them all but one to Ben. That's fine.
Oh,
and not to mention, you can't die in this episode because we have to win who actually is going to get a Tesla coil in a little bit. So
that's
right.
You
have to live through that.
I suggest we announce that before we get to that blood one because I'm not going to survive that, Joe.
Oh, you're gonna survive it. Did you take my advice and make yourself some like buffalo sauce to mix it into, or you just did not take my advice?
No, look, I got some barbecue sauce. I don't like buffalo
Whatever's gonna
sauce.
help, man. Listen, I'm full of surprises, so we'll see what happens today with this. And think about how lighthearted this is, man. Like, usually we come in deep with like some, prolific topic of conversation, but today it's just all about, how bad we can make our ass burn, I guess.
Dude, I got a whole weekend to heal my ass after this, dude, because it's going to be on fire.
Yeah,
All right,
man.
let's take a look real quick. Joe, I think yours just popped up.
All right. This is a 12-minute video. We might be able to skip through it, but you'll see.
Okay, folks, today we are pressed for time making wings. So we are doing the expeditious wing making method. Crack open the chicken wings. I'm going to fill a pot with some water. In the meantime, I'm going to get snipping on these wings. I'm going to go the easy route with scissors as opposed to doing it with my knife, because it takes half the time. Switch it up. Wash your hands.
So you boiled them first, Joe?
I did.
Range on high.
Nice.
I wouldn't call it boiling. I'd call it more hot brining.
And
You'll see.
throw copious amounts of adobo into the water. Throw some cayenne in there to keep with the theme. Throw some garlic powder in there, because why the hell not?
Oh, yeah, lots of garlic.
Oh yeah, garlic and everything, man.
Oh,
Throw some paprika.
did you actually put chili pepper in there or anything?
Yeah, I put some cayenne in there too. Yeah, not that much, but
got a new thing of black pepper here, so I didn't want to use good peppercorns for this. Figured this would do just fine. Throw some of that in there. Stir that up.
I see what you mean by hot brine now.
Oh, I didn't even salt it yet.
Kosher salt.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my
See what
god!
I think about
dude.
hot brine?
Yeah. You have a heart attack with that salt.
Bring them with that.
That's all right.
Oh,
I just need fast osmosis is what occurred there. It's like
All right.
the sin to cook
See what it
things
looks
where the
like
salt
when
don't get
it's
all
ready to
through,
come
man.
out of
You
that
good
boil.
seasoning.
Doing the hot brine method. Give it a few more
Does
minutes.
look
Get
good,
them
though.
things out. Get our oven preheated.
Yeah.
Thinking 425. All right, let's get these things out. Dump them, let them drain.
hey Ben, make sure you lock in your channel if you want.
Stupid
Well, I'm
me
not going to be
forgot
able to stay.
take my
I got to
pan
take
out of
off
the
around
oven,
6.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's hot.
Well, we appreciate you for the time we have you, buddy. Don't worry, we'll be eating wings by then, so you can get a good laugh in.
Shrek. Get some airflow underneath these guys.
This is nice. I like cooking videos.
Cooking
Yeah,
with Joe.
well, I gotta get my filming technique down better, because I'll tell you what, man. Like, I always film myself cooking dumb things. Like, I make some incredible stuff sometimes. Like, but I never take the time to film any of that.
Well, you could either get a tripod or maybe even a GoPro, and strap it to your forehead.
Yeah, something. Right. Maybe that's a good idea. I don't know. Like I have a tripod.
So
That's how I did
slide
this.
method, it's
Yeah, the
nice
tripod
because
helps.
I don't do it all the time. It's not necessarily like my preferred method, but I'll tell you what, it gets the meat real tender real quick when I'm in a pinch for time. And it also
I'm gonna put one wire to those
gets,
wings.
good amount of salt
How
and
long did you
seasoning.
boil that
Yeah,
for?
that'd be good.
So all the meat
How long was that in the
goes
liquid
through,
for?
osmosis. Gets
Like only like
seasoning
15 minutes or
throughout
something,
and
just
end,
enough
so
to like
I
render
know
some
we're
of the
looking for
fat out
onions,
and
which is good.
make sure that nice
Also
seasoned salt
renders the fat
liquid
up
gets
nicely.
into it.
So when you
Tell
put
you
it
what,
in the oven at high
thirsty though.
temperature, the
Since
skin gets nice and crispy pretty
wing
quick.
day, we're gonna have a beer.
You didn't ship some of these to Nathan, did you?
No, honestly, usually I make them more like Nathan makes them.
All right. I decided that I'm going to dust these guys up before they go in. So I'm going to dust them with some cayenne.
It's crazy because I like never season food like this, but it's just the way it worked out this time, man. Usually I'm just pouring into my palm and doing a hand sprinkle and this and that. Like, just such a weird representation of my cooking because this isn't usually how I do it. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I put mine in the bag with seasoning and shook it.
Yo, this is funny. So I go to pour the pepper. It was still sealed. And check this out.
And there I go.
I put a bunch in my hand and then I sneeze and hope for the best.
So I opened it up to rip the foil back a little bit. A huge puff of friggin' pepper cloud came up at me, and I started sneezing.
My hopes. Get some paprika.
That's so great.
Holy shit! Can't make that up.
Do you use smoked paprika?
That was just regular paprika. I just had to kick it around from some rub that I actually used over the weekend when I made some legit like North Carolina style pulled pork, which that was good, and that is extraordinarily
Oh
good.
yeah, things are happening.
Oh, they look good. Oh yeah.
Those are looking pretty
I might
good.
have
Let's
accidentally
give 'em a
smoked
flip.
some nutmeg ones.
And I'll tell you what, rather than put these
I heard
guys
that could
back
hurt.
in because they're looking pretty done, I'm gonna go ahead and use a heat gun
A heat gun.
to get this side nice and browned up. Fat's fully rendered. I think they're good as it is, but no sense in leaving that side looking yellow like that. So let's do that.
I was gonna whip the blowtorch out, but I figured it was a little overkill, you know.
Oh my god, dude. We're like TikTok cooking now with heat guns.
Oh, yo, the heat gun stays in my kitchen. That's a kitchen appliance. That's not.
Is it really?
Yeah.
This time he's gonna boil the water with a laser.
Nice. Oh. I think you've been talking to Brandon a little too much about how to cook your chicken there, Joe.
Dude, I'll tell you, like, if you want to render skin up or fat real quick, like a heat gun will do it almost instantaneously. It's incredible. Good little trick. Thing gets to like 1800 degrees.
Oh.
A heat shrink gun might get hot enough. I don't know. You think I put a piece of chicken in the clamp there at the front of it?
I mean, listen, I wouldn't be dependent on that to cook the damn thing, but to get the skin nice, yeah. Let me tell you, man, when I make a turkey for Thanksgiving and stuff, you know, no matter how much you spread the legs, you know, you get them untanned lines. Well, you know, I heat gun that because nobody wants that kind of tasty skin.
All right, let's make some wing
rubbery
sauce.
bullshit.
Half stick, large stick
Oh.
of cherry
Yeah,
gold
nice
butter.
and crispy.
Let that get around.
Okay.
Once
We
it's melted,
went
get some
full
other
stick
stuff
of
in there.
Kerrygold.
Oh man, look at
All
that.
right,
You
now
got
that we have our butter mostly melted,
what?
it's gonna go classico style here. Do glugs of equal parts, approximately Frank's Red Hot. Give that a stir. See what it looks like. A little light on the Frank's, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
Something about butter and hot sauce
That
is just
should
so delicious.
probably do it.
Like clams.
Yeah, that's buffalo sauce, man. Like can't go wrong with that.
Is that what that is?
Yeah,
Better now.
definitely.
I don't eat the stuff I don't know, man. So
Oh yeah,
But
butter and Frank's, but I knocked it up a little bit. I threw a
Mm.
little
it's delicious.
sriracha
Do a
garlic
little
in there,
That's sriracha
and
garlic sauce. And
That's-
spiced up a little bit. Put some Tabasco scorpion sauce.
yeah. So that
I mean,
Tabasco scorpion sauce is actually pretty damn hot.
Medium hot.
Mm.
So I knocked that in there a little bit, and then I got a trick for everybody, for anybody watching this.
Let's get to know
If
each
you don't
other.
want your
Now
buffalo
let the
sauce to
temperature come
separate,
up a little bit.
this is your
and
trick.
Some fancy shit. What I'm gonna do is I have a mixture of guar gum, xanthan gum mixed up. To keep it from separating, I'm gonna put a little tiny bit because it's
Right? So you put like I have guar gum and xanthan gum. I mix them together and add some water, and then you put like a little tiny bit of it in there, and that'll get it to not separate the stuff because it emulsifies it.
Oh, that's pretty good. I like that.
Yep.
make sure that's working.
That it gives it a nice viscosity, so it sticks to the wings too. Good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, emulsifier thickens it, right?
And that should
Yeah, well, it
probably
holds
keep
it
from
together.
separating.
Exactly.
Very nice. Now what I'm going to do is one last thing.
wow.
I'm going to go ahead and put
Yeah, I gotta have the
some of
mortar and
this
pestle.
buffalo sauce in here. A little less than half, I guess. And I'm going to go ahead and add in the devil's blood.
What?
Oh, the regrettable decisions.
Yeah.
How much of this am I going to add?
What the hell is this?
That was a big
So I
drop.
split
Even
this
for a
hot
little
sauce
bit
in
more
two,
since It is a challenge.
and then I put
Oh my god,
the
that's
devil's blood in half the hot
Okay.
sauce.
well.
You
We'll
got
see
like
how
a
that
shady, like underground Tabasco dealer. Have you tried this stuff, man?
Look, I told you, Ben, he's trying to kill me. Look, he made me buy the same stuff.
Have you tried it yet?
No, God, no.
Oh, so okay.
I'm
so
only,
it's like
you get one shot at this. That's it.
Well, let's put it this way. I've washed my hands multiple and repeated times since I was just even touching the bottle, and I went to take a pee-pee before, and there's a sensation.
Oh, he burned
I
his
can
beans
feel
and
my
Franks.
fingerprints, for Christ's sakes.
Oh, wow.
hot sauce alchemy.
That's
funny.
it.
Oh, my. All right,
Yeah,
man.
Egon. Bad advice only, I take.
Wow. All right, Joe. What do you want
That's
to
good
do?
advice. All right, we want to introduce the hot sauces. What do we want to do?
Yeah, you go ahead and introduce them. I'll get ready to pick out the first one, the original one.
All right. So we have original from Habanero. It appears to be I should have reading glasses on because I can't see that small. This is their mild, is their original. Then we have extra hot. So this is more or less, to me, mild, but this is probably more along the lines of medium. Then we move on to their triple X, which is definitely a habanero based sauce.
Mm.
And then we have their challenge sauce, which is the Dragon's Breath sauce, which they are saying is orders of magnitude hotter than the triple X. Okay. So that's the challenge set. Then we have, at least in my case, I have the buffalo sauce that I made with the devil's blood mixed in. Then, because I'm a sick fuck, I have the devil's blood.
Oh,
Now,
well,
the devil's blood is not a hot sauce. It's a concentrate. It's not the wildest concentrate out there, okay, but it still ranges 800,000 to 1,000,000 Scoville units. So it's plenty hot. And you know, when they concentrate it down like that, the way that the capsaicin ultimately acts, it kind of comes to an oil. And it's my opinion that anything that is an extract is always hits hotter than something fresh of the same Scoville unit, just because that oil tends to like slick in your mouth. So,
mm,
you know, because it's not diffused up in the pepper, like in the cell membranes and stuff like that. Um, you know, where it's in liquid water, you know, that tends to go down and kind of go away, whereas this tends to like hang around a minute. So that's going to be a fun one. So that's what we got going on. And I'm ready to eat wings whenever you are, man. I'll go grab them.
or are we just putting a drop on there, Joe? Or what is the rule?
I mean, you do as you feel comfortable with. This is for fun. I don't want you to get sick. My heat tolerance is way different than yours, man. So
All right.
like I'm gonna be dousing my wings and all this shit. Like
All right, guys, here's for a humble moment for you, an embarrassing one. Just so you know, I have dentures. So every bit of this, I'm going to feel really bad. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to pull them out and we're going to start with the first hot sauce. So here we go.
yo, that makes it so much more epic.
Dude, it's so bad. All right.
I'm gonna go get my wings. I'll be
All
right
right.
back.
Go get them. Oh, man. This is going to be bad. Okay. I got barbecue to start with, guys, because I don't know what these are going to taste like, but this doesn't smell bad. It smells actually pretty good, like tacos. No, that's not bad at all. So hopefully I'll be okay with this one. You know it's going to hit me a few minutes afterwards. I got some blue juice here. So I put a ton of ice in it. Hopefully that works out for me. I don't know that it will, though.
Bunch of vodka.
Oh, God. I probably need some after this. I probably was drinking it when I agreed to this. Is probably what it was. Jack got a red hole. Oh, it's going to be red, all right.
Red hole. Red hole number 5.
Nice.
Oh hell yeah! That's all good.
All right, Joe, you got them out? You about ready?
Just about ready. Uh-oh. Knocking into things and such. All right. I have one order of business. My computer turned off, so I just need to get back into that. There we go. Now I can see the chat again.
Okay.
All right.
Somebody wants some.
Before we get started, let me ask you: drums or flats? Which do you prefer?
Well, I got the drum. I'm ready.
You got a drum? All right. I'll go
Yeah.
for a drum first.
I'm going to try to eat this without embarrassing myself and putting it all in my
Okay.
beard.
So you got the original?
The original.
All right. Let me get some original up on here. My
Got a little
pull
buddy
bar.
down there who's hoping for some too.
Yeah, I know. He always wants it. Usually I
Very
share, but I don't think this is a good idea.
No,
For him.
Oh
probably
no,
not.
no, but maybe it's just some raw chicken, or not raw, but cooked, plain chicken.
Yeah.
All right. I got
All right.
3 drops on it.
All right, mine's covered. Let's go.
That wasn't bad at all.
Nah, man.
That's more like taco
Good.
sauce.
All right, I'm doing one more of those. Got a little citrusy vibe to it.
No, that might be good with tacos. I might keep that one. So far, so good, guys.
I mean, yeah, it tastes all right.
Oh,
All right, all right. Cleanse palate. You tell me when you're ready.
all right, second one, I'm going to drop. There's 5 on there.
All right. Got a drum.
I tasted that one.
That one tastes better.
All right, man. I think we got duds because these aren't hitting yet.
Oh, don't worry. We'll make up for it.
Oh, God.
All right. I did a drum. Now I'll do a flat with this.
Oh, man. Kind of. I think I'm getting more pepper out of this than. Yeah. All right. You ready for the next one?
Hang on. I'm doing 2 wings. So
Oh, okay. I wasn't paying
you're
attention.
going through it because you want to get this over with like your life depends on.
Well, I'm staring at my desk right here. Because I know as soon as that last one hit, it's going to be really bad. And then the last one, I'm going to literally cry on air with no teeth in, which is horrifying.
How are your gums hanging in there? They're doing all right?
They haven't been bothered at all yet.
All right. Okay. Go to triple X.
Triple X. All right, here we go. Got about 7 drops on there.
Right there is what Vin Diesel uses as deodorant.
Oh my God, dude. Oh. All right, my gums, every bit of them hit it right now.
Bro, this shit ain't even tickling me.
Yeah, well, that's good.
It's the Scoville rating.
I don't know. It didn't say. This is the second hottest one we're having. Well, on this set.
All right. I don't think it's that. I think it's my gums. It's like when you get something on your tongue, but all over the place.
Fair.
All right. I'm pretty proud of myself. I made it through 3. All
Now
right.
this one has discernible heat to me. I don't,
Oh,
like I feel that one.
you feel that one? Which one
Yeah,
do you
I feel
want? Are you on Dragon yet?
it. And I'm not skipping ahead without you. Do you need a break before we do this one?
No, give me a minute. I'm going to eat a little bit more.
There.
Try to get the crap off my gums.
Oh, that one's got a nice little afterbite to it.
Yeah, it does.
That one didn't kick in right away.
They must have put some chili and some vinegar and put it in there so it gets the back heat.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
a delayed reaction.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
telling you, it was. It took like a full blown 30 seconds to like kind of
oh yeah,
start to
stick it
build up.
around.
It's still actually building up right now, this one.
Man, I
You
need
got
to get a
triple X.
toothbrush for my gums. Oh my God.
That one actually tastes the best too so far.
I like the first one the best so far. All right, here we go. Dragon's Breath. The beginning and the end for me.
All right, I'm doing a flat on this one. I'm eating these wings so fast, I'm like, I don't want to get full.
I put a good amount on, man.
Yeah, mine is slathered.
How many did you prep for this?
I put the whole thing.
Yeah, I made the whole blister pack, bro.
Oh yeah, the whole pack. How many was in there though? Like 2 dozen?
Oh.
This one doesn't taste as good.
Oh,
Damn, that one got to Nathan, huh?
I knew it was gonna. This one's exponentially hotter than the last one we had. The last one's hot. I'm waiting for the buildup though, because I really covered it. Oh yeah, that's hot. That ain't no joke.
no. My fucking gums are on fire.
Holy shit!
Oh, it's on my tongue. It's not on my tongue. It's my gums.
Tell you what, man, that cold Modelo helped.
Just keep rubbing it in.
Dude, I'm feeling this one. Oh yeah.
My tongue caught up along with my throat.
No, yo, the bottom of my tongue hurts.
Oh,
My lips are on fire too.
You guys are crazy.
dude, I feel like I have two
This is
fat
funny.
lips right now. Oh,
My eyes are tearing. Woo.
oh, oh.
My dog just licked my finger. I feel so bad for him.
Oh boy, he's in for it in a minute.
Well, that was a pretty good end one.
Yeah, no, that was a good bad, man. That was a good. But we're not done.
Oh, please.
I mean, it's like I would eat this recreationally, but not more than a couple.
It reminds me of one time I was in Mexico eating street tacos. Oh. Oh. Wow. Dude,
Yeah.
nothing's helping, okay?
No, nothing's gonna help either. Ice cream, maybe.
Oh, wow. Okay, let me clean off my hands. Like, put up chat. Oh. Wow.
Holy smokes! Listen, I'm gonna say that it's not past the point of being like enjoyable. Like it's painful, but it's somewhat enjoyable. Like I don't know.
Oh.
That's my opinion. It's a bad opinion, but it's an opinion.
Oh, my God. Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's what I'm feeling right now.
No, you got and done it. You got and done it.
Oh yeah.
Like a kettle.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Okay, it's getting better. All right.
Yeah, it's on the breakdown a little bit. The bottom of my tongue stopped burning, which is nice.
Oh. Oh, excuse me.
You got your yak bucket ready, brother?
Oh, dude, I'm not even ready yet. We need a few more minutes.
All right.
I'm over here sweating it out, brother.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I don't know how long since we ate that, but I'm definitely on the downturn now. So
Yeah,
for
no,
anyone
it is.
wondering, that's about the half life of this. You know, is however long from the time I ate it to right this moment is half life.
Dude, okay, I went to go get some milk and my son had eaten it all with his freaking Cheerios. So there is no more in the fridge. It's like a half a jug the other day. Oh. Oh my God. Okay. All right, Joe. Before we take this last one, because I know I'm gonna die.
You're gonna go straight in with it. You don't want to mix it with something. You have ranch or something, dude.
I'm gonna mix it up in a minute.
Yeah, because like if this one kind of got you, man, this next one really gonna fuck you
All right.
up. Period. End of story.
I get it. Oh. Yeah, give a little prayer to the Lord. And I don't drop dead right now. All right. Before we get there, Joe, I do have something to announce about the winner and everything.
Okay, we want to do that. Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna go a little bit. Let me find the. Yeah, nothing but devil's breath coming out right now. Oh wow.
Egon says, "Tongue is numb, mind on fire." Yeah, man. You know what? Capsaicin does that, man. It'll make you think like real hard about life sometimes, depending on how bad.
Hmm. Okay.
John
Here we
Bigman
go.
said Jesus, and they talk.
Sorry, it's just gonna take me a minute to pull this up.
Yeah. Please.
Okay. Oh.
I would say just about everybody in the chats entered in, so there's got to be a little anticipation there.
So here we go. That's how much total weight loss Joe and I got.
Yep.
Nice. That's pretty good.
Oh.
Yep. And it was split up. I mean, Nathan lost a little bit more than I did, but it was pretty split even as far as that goes. So
Yeah,
I think we did pretty good.
You guys did great. That's a good number.
Yeah, 3 weeks, man.
well, I pulled in 26 and Joe got 20, right around there. Oh, point something. Oh, I can't even think of the numbers. Oh, so we did better than some. I know some people out there, I think, 10 pounds was the lowest, and some people up around 100 men, but we did good. It wasn't bad for 3 weeks.
For sure. I think if I would have kept on that damn detox fast that I was doing, it would have definitely not been the same winners. But there's only so long anybody saying that shit.
No.
Like, no.
Oh, my God.
Said Novocaine might help you, Nathan, or lidocaine with your gums.
Oh. So when we looked at it, and oh, man. If it was on the post that we put up, that's where we calculated it from. And before the time expired, there was one person that put it in after the time expired, and he would have won hands down. He was right next to it, but it was after the time, so we couldn't count it, right? So, when we looked at it, we actually had 2 winners. So give me 1 second. Let me see.
I'm so excited. So excited.
Yeah, hang on. Oh,
The chat's all reminiscing on their guesses.
yeah. Well, sink it in a little bit, bad boy. So here's what we're gonna do. We had 2 winners on this, and Joe and I talked about it, and we're talking about spinning the wheel and everything else. And I didn't want anybody to feel left out. I hate when you get to an end of a contest and you did everything right, but then something comes along and for whatever misunderstanding or they couldn't afford an extra prize or whatever it was, they don't give it out. We're not doing that. Okay. I right here have 2 Tesla coils right next to me. they're the winning 2 Tesla coils you will get. So
is
each
so
person
cool.
that won get one.
That's awesome, Nathan. That's an awesome prize.
Yeah, well, it's going to get a little better. Check this out. Now, talking to Joe about it, Joe always wants me to give everything away.
Damn right.
You both get the PNP circuit with it. Now,
Wow.
that's the circuit that's going to come with it. So you're going to get a rocking circuit with this thing for both coils, man. The only thing you have to put up is your own power supply. It will come with the power supply for the fan. I'll tell you this. So these things have these 2 holes right here. If you wanted to hot wire this thing, just take the fan one and put it in the other slot, and it'll turn on your Tesla coil, no problem. At 12 volts and 2 amps, you'll still get a field out of it, be able to play. But then you can add a power source later up to 40 volts. So both of you guys will get it, and we'll announce that a little bit later. I have it all queued up and ready to go in case this next wing kills me. I just wanted to make sure I told everybody and that we got it out there, man. It's going to be awesome, brother. I think you guys will really, really enjoy this.
I'm wildly jealous.
That's a really cool prize.
Yeah. Dude, I'm excited, Ben. People get to learn, man. That's kind of was the goal behind everything. And the more people get these coils in their hands, the more they learn, the better off they are. And I think it's just the best way to go.
I agree. Absolutely.
Awesome.
So who won?
Well, you want it now or do you want it after the sauce?
All right, let's do it in suffering. Let's go.
Do it in suffering? Okay.
Let's do it in
Oh,
suffering.
God. I don't even know if I want to open this thing. Like, it's got...
Watch your fingers, man. It likes to get on your fingers, and it's unforgiving.
Okay, well, it's already got a twist tie thing. I need to get some pair of dikes or something. Oh, man. I don't even have the right tool here. Give me a second. Oh.
All these people in the chat with good advice, like wear gloves. Thank you, Havoc.
You gotta wear safety equipment when you're using a bandsaw to cut your chicken.
Listen, I've been known not to wear safety equipment. God knows.
Hey, Ben, we did this, we did a live show and John came on. By the way, thank you, John. And this thing turned off, this coil, it turned off my computer twice on me. It was like, dude, my computer was 10
Hey,
feet away.
Nathan, can you do me a favor? Can you repeat the total number that we lost again for my ex-wife who's in the chat asking?
Yeah, 46.7.
46.7. There you go.
Yeah, 46.7. So, all right. God help me. I don't know why I do this.
Listen, dude, I gave you very good advice, but you didn't take it.
Okay, I'm going to mix it right now.
Okay. Yep. You said barbecue sauce? Barbecue sauce it is.
Barbecue sauce.
Chili's baby back ribs.
Nice.
Chili's baby back ribs.
Oh man.
Dude, this thing's trying to tell me something.
All right, you let me know when you're ready. My dog wants some food, so I'm gonna help him out here.
Stupid stuff.
He is so adorable. His like head pops up every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, usually when I do these things, he's like sleeping in bed, but not when I have food. No.
Now this is science I can get behind.
Yeah, I never know what he's talking about. And now I don't care. There you go.
Oh.
Oh. All right. I got my barbecue sauce right here.
Oh, damn, that wing sauce is good. I could
Sure.
definitely kill a plate of those. No problem.
And you say one drop, right? Because it'll kill you.
I mean, I didn't put one drop. I put in like a lot, and then I put in some more after. But like you use your better discretion, bro.
Like
I have
put
a
one
grand
drop.
finale for everybody after this is all said and done, anyway.
If it's really strong, you could put like one drop in like a larger pool of dipping sauce, kind of dilute a little bit.
Oh. Okay. Well, that's plenty. Oh, God. All right. I'm going to use my other wing to mix it up.
Nathan was a good friend. He lifted me up when I was at a low point. He gave me a platform. He gave me a voice.
Oh, my
He
God.
was a friend to all. He liked to give away his Tesla coil.
Oh, my God. Here you go. Hold on. Oh.
All right, you let me know, because then I'm going to dip.
Okay. I know. Just give me a second.
Stop looking at me like
Okay.
that.
All right. I'm going to go with a dry one. All right. Well, God help me.
I'm on a
Here we go.
over. What's the verdict?
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet. Huh. What's it called?
Devil's blood.
Oh, that's the devil's blood. Okay.
It's building.
Yeah,
Now I'm going to try another. Maybe I missed it.
it's definitely building, but not as bad as I thought.
The other
I'll
one.
tell you what. Highly unrecommended.
Oh, it's building all right. Oh.
Yeah, it's definitely building. Definitely building.
Like a sharp crescendo.
Oh.
All right, folks, here's my grand finale for you.
Like it's so
Put
bad. I
some of that
wanted.
straight up.
Oh, dude, I want to dip more in the barbecue sauce, but it's getting hotter.
All right,
Oh.
watch out. See that
Oh.
spot? That spot of pure Satan right there.
Oh God, Joe.
See that? All right, tongue side down. Ready?
Mm.
Oh, fuck. Doing okay? Breaks
Yeah,
that down.
dude. It's not that my nose starts running and everything. And
Like a pressure release valve to release all the steam from your head.
It's building.
one thing I got it that one. Oh yeah, I got it. Oh no.
Ah, shit. Here I am contemplating my life choices. Fuck.
Yeah. Well,
Someone said something about anti-gravity. I don't know about anti-gravity, but this shit will make you hit the floor.
I was about to say, I might prove anti-gravity when I sit down on the toilet later.
oh. Oh, it hit. It's under my tongue. I bit the wing that I stirred it with.
Honestly, it's like I've eaten worse things than that. I mean, it's not good.
Oh,
I ate something one time I thought was gonna like make me die.
this is it.
Oh shit!
Like one of those situations where you gotta like cause pain in like your hand or something to distract yourself.
Hey, listen, I practice what I preach, man. Like I could put myself on a plane, you know.
Yeah, you're watching the death of old man Bill. Dearly beloved, we're gathered here today to watch my death.
Is there anything you can drink? Like, does milk even work? Does milk help at all?
I don't have any. My son drank it all.
That son of a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much to help this. Like, I mean, it's gonna hang around as long as it's gonna hang around.
It's mostly a tolerance thing then.
Yeah, I mean, I've been eating spicy stuff since I'm a kid.
Someone said the dog's gonna get some and paint your wall. I thought that was funny.
Listen, he eats food that I make too, and that means he has a heat tolerance. So,
Yeah.
you know, I was feeding him a chicken wing before with buffalo sauce on it. I mean, he'd be all right with that. Keeps on wanting more, right, Bubba?
He looks okay.
Yeah, he's fine. Come here. Say hello. Come on. No,
Oh,
come here. Just don't let me touch your eyes. All right, it's more enough for me. I'm good.
oh, must be nice.
Yeah, I literally just zen myself through that shit. Is what I did. It's like it was not pleasant for a little bit. It also is. It also like doesn't taste exceptionally good. So like that's a whole nother layer to it. All right, we want to do winners.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, I feel like you're sad that it didn't cripple me.
Joe, it got under my tongue.
That's the worst.
It won't leave.
You're salivating like out of control. I bet, right? Dude? Just start having the drippy jowl.
Oh.
It was military grade.
I mean, let's put it this way. I got a little on my fingertips, and your fingertips are pretty thick and like, you know, compared, it's not very sensitive to get like I could feel the warmth in my fingertips. That's for damn sure.
Wow.
So putting that on mucous membranes like your tongue inside your mouth is like, you know, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
The real challenge would be putting it on the organite butt plug as lube.
Oh my god.
I don't think there's enough chill in the world to get you through that without, you know,
Oh.
permits or whatever.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, Tiger Balm, he says they might put it in. That makes sense because Tiger Balm is it has like that hot burning sensation when you put it on your skin.
Yeah, I used to love the extra strength Tiger Bomb stuff, man. Like, you rub that into a muscle, but like I'm hardcore, man. Like I'm telling you, when I used to have like a stuffy nose or something, I'd straight up go with a Q-tip with that Tiger Balm extra strength, rub it up in my nose to get like my sinuses clear, Like that's a whole other world of sensations. Good.
Okay, Nathan?
Yep.
Jarvis says that you could gargle some baking soda. I've never tried that. That might work.
Dude, my tongue is better. My lips are now feeling it. It's like moving.
Well, guess what, brother? It's over. So
Oh.
I don't think capsaicin is an acid. I think it's a specific molecular construct. Acid burns different.
This is pure like chili pepper burn or something on you when you rub it.
All right. Have you recovered, sir?
All right, you ready?
Who is the winner? The winners. We have winners.
Chicken dinner.
Winner, chicken dinner. That's right.
Make sure I have it up. There you go.
Oh,
Hey!
yo, that fish knew it all along, and I almost gave it away the other day, which was terrible, and then I had to renege on myself. And then who else won? Professor, right? Professor something?
Professional code digger.
Professional
Pretty
coding.
good.
So that's it. Guess what, man? I want to see you have to make a video about the Tesla coil when it comes. That's all I'm saying. Either you got to get on with us and share what you're finding. Definitely some quick tests, man. You have nice quartz and stuff to do your test with.
Nice.
Nathan, are you gonna sign them too for them?
If they request it, I will.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, man, I think so. Thanks. All right, man. I'm glad you got a good piece of quartz. Yeah, man. Gonna be looking forward to all those, stuff, all the stuff that you do. Can't wait to see it. Please share. And yeah, man, I was when I saw it was you, I was super excited. I'm like, man, he is religiously here, and that is so cool that we got to give it to somebody that is religiously here like that.
Oh yeah. Give me a second to kind of clear my area, and I'll put in my email for you. Get a hold of me. Get me your address, and I'll get that out to you. Oh, that stuff is awful. Oh.
Well, it was fun, everybody, but I gotta hit the old dusty trail.
Hey man, thanks so much for coming. Next time though, you come on, you got to be dressed like a wizard. That's the deal.
Okay.
You
You have to remind
promise,
me
I'm
because
going to keep you to that promise.
I'll forget.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate it.
Of
Hey,
course.
Ben, have a good weekend, brother.
Okay, you guys too. Thanks for inviting me.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Oh,
Just full disclaimer. Anyway, I'm still on a diet. I haven't lost all my weight yet. Doing real good on it. Made an exception to the rule last weekend because it was Memorial Day, and I decided to have bread. And then today I drank a beer because it just
oh.
seemed like the only thing that was going to probably help the situation and kind of make it more of a fun party special event. So aside, other than that, man, I've just been eating friggin' meat and vegetables. That's it.
All right, so there's my email in the chat. Email me. Get me your address. I'll send it right out. Mm. Which color did you want? So we have a red one and we have a gold one.
You still want more, sir? You still want more? Okay. Yo, listen, my dog's in on the hot wing challenge too.
Don't be
Come.
feeding him the hot stuff though.
No, well, this only got buffalo sauce on it. It'll be fine. Come here.
Okay.
I know I teach you not to do this, but come on.
So dead fish,
Okay.
which color did you want? Did you want the red one or the gold one? Oh my gosh.
You see, this is a family show with swearing and crude jokes.
She wants the one that makes cords fly. Well, I don't know which one that is. Huh. Oh. It's finally starting to calm down on my lips, Joe.
Really? Oh man.
I remember,
It's
man,
wild
underneath and stuff.
wild to like see like the difference that people have to this. Because like me, I've been fine for like a while now. Crazy.
Yeah, they're absolutely the same coil.
Want another one? Oh, you're such a shit. Come here.
It's just wait a few hours. Yeah. That's when it comes out the wrong end. Oh.
Up, 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 up.
Okay.
I'll tell you what though, I'm full, which is crazy because usually I'd probably eat twice that number of wings if I was actually, just eating wings. But all that damn hot friggin' shut me down, bro. Shut my stomach down. All right, I'm gonna get rid of this so my dog will leave me alone.
Okay. Oh. So I actually have something cool to show you guys. Paul watches the show and he built a Tesla coil based on the same stuff that I did. So I wanted to share his work. Dude, that's just wickedly cool. It's like a windmill. Yeah, I love that plasma breakout on that thing, man. The coil is powerful. Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. Just dancing on the water. You got a bunch of those lights in there too. That's cool. Yeah, look at that.
Nice. Now I can see so far away.
Yeah, well, look at the plasma on the water. That's just so cool.
Oh, that is cool. Very neat. Yeah. Is what was that? Just a glass of water? That's it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I like the lighting colors all around it though.
Neat. Yeah, I see that.
And I think he's got neon lights here, and he shows them at distances and maps out the field with them.
Oh, that's cool too. Yeah. Yeah, that's rad. Looks very cool.
You missed the other one. Let me go back. Oh man, there's the other way. But there's the plasma again. Yeah, hang on. Oh, got a little discharge action there. Oh, that's the one I
Wow.
wanted to show you.
Yo, that's got some swing to it.
Yeah, hold on. He did it at night too. Oh, look at this one.
Oh, that's cool. That's like a Lichtenberg effect almost.
Yeah, as long as there's water in the wood, it'll go right through it.
Yeah. Similar to what Brandon was doing too with the charred wood and then running a charge through it. So he accumulated enough of that char at the surface. He could probably make that board twitch also.
Yeah. You also see how the voltage goes right through it once it finds a path. That's so cool. I never thought of doing this experiment with it, but it makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the interesting thing about it too is that there's a direct correlation between the resonance and the coil and what that wire is ultimately doing.
I missed one of them, and I don't know how I got messed up. I think I'm going the right direction, though. Yeah, it looks like he's doing the 2 coil test as well. See if this was it. There it is. Look at that, Joe.
Yeah, man, that thing's swinging.
That's wicked looking.
That is. Damn, like if the frame rate was just correct, that would just look like a portal, is it?
Yeah. They got a windmill. Yeah, dude, I like that one too, man.
Yeah, no, that's pretty neat. Yeah, I mean, I wonder what the rate of spin is on that because again, get the length of wire, figure the rate of spin, then that tells you a lot about the resonance of the radiant fields.
Yeah, he definitely got it going on, man. This is what I love. You put out the numbers for the coil that works. You use the ZVS driver for this. Man, perfect. This coil was made for that thing.
It's very cool.
See if you
He's
had
been
another
coming
one.
out with some cool stuff, man. I appreciate everything he does.
Yeah. He's got a whole theory about it and everything. We'll have to share another day, but man, is it
Yeah,
cool?
man, we have to have him on. Is what we need to do.
Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
heard, Dennis? You heard?
Well, that one wasn't Dennis's. That was Paul's.
Oh, that was Paul's.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was Dennis's.
No, that was Paul's.
No, stop it right now. Yo, he better get on here and talk about it. But we gotta have Dennis on too.
Yeah, Dennis for sure, man. You got to come on and hang out with us. Oh man, thank you, Jarvis. Right on, brother.
Good looking out, man.
Thank you.
That going right into the next wing fun.
Oh,
Yeah,
you know what? I'm happy I survived. Okay, something tells me later on I'm gonna forget that barbecue sauce is spiked and I'm gonna eat it again. You watch. Oh, oh, yeah.
All right.
Dude,
Well, now that my mind's purged of the heat, what's the topic of discussion? We're only an hour in, bro.
yeah. I'm sorry, man. My head's starting to clear up too, but it ain't there yet. Whatever you want,
Okay.
Joe.
I don't know. Give no contemplation. I'll tell you what. Since it's a special, let's leave it up to the chat what we're going to talk about today. We'll take it off the cuff like we always do, and I'll tell you all sorts of things that I know nothing about.
Oh man. Oh, give him a minute to come up with something. Oh, yeah, dude, that hot sauce got me. Okay, it wasn't so bad in the beginning, man. It was that last one. It just stuck there. It wasn't. It built and then it stuck. The other one kind of went away after a little bit. That one was for quite a while.
Oh, I have something I wanted to bring up. It was something that Bernie actually said the other day, and I wish I would have had time to watch the whole video intently, but I didn't. So I need to actually go back. But he started his video off more or less saying that he had been talking to Jeremiah, and Jeremiah and him, the way that they were framing this was right a dot, a line, and a hole. Does this right? And immediately I instantly knew what he was talking about because it's something that we talked about in the infancy of us getting together and doing this. And
Okay.
it was when I was describing different interference patterns that occur and the manifestation of different particles, right? How I described the midline offset interference as a drop in a hole. Remember, I said that it was like a drop of water. When it drops out, it pops up and it creates a dip. So you have your water line, you have your dip, and then you have your drop above it. And that's the same thing. And that's what creates like two sides of energy, two sides of matter. So I thought that was interesting. And I need to go further into what he was saying exactly to know the full scope. But as soon as I saw, and he had a little drawing, it was literally a dot, a line, and like a little dip, right? As soon as I saw that, I was like, "Oh, we've talked about this," and I brought this one up because it was just the way that I saw it in my mind,
Huh.
So, yeah, it was very interesting.
Very cool. Yeah, he said he had a great big breakthrough. I haven't had the opportunity to talk to him yet about it. So we'll
That's
have
what I'm
to see.
talking about. I want to know more about it, and I want to talk to him about it too, because obviously, we get on the same page about these things real quick.
Well, I had some breakthroughs of my own, man. Been studying up on the Meg and Floyd Sweet and how he did it. And it finally occurred to me how he pulled it off. And you know what the meg is, right? It's
Yeah.
just it's an iron core,
Yeah,
and they
it's the
put magnets in
C's
between.
with the wraps and the spinning in the middle. Yeah.
So when Bearden described it, he was saying that he had to pay for the electricity going into it, right? The voltage. But what he was trying to say is the magnetic field was already paid for by the actual magnets themselves. So the magnets, what they were doing in the system was creating the amperage field that went around in the inside. And what it would do is as you turned it on one side, by the way, that coil has to be at the same frequency of the core itself. You turned on each side, and then it would draw in the E field. So remember when I tell you it brings in the energy from your environment and it gets it colder? This is the exact process he was describing in this machine. So he said you have to pay to ping it, okay? With the frequency generator, you pay to ping it, but you don't have to pay for the magnetic field because the iron core itself has the magnetism with the magnets in it, and it pulls it to each side, right? Totally just hit me one day and I go, dude, that was the same thing I'm doing with my rodent coil and my Tesla coil, right? And it makes perfect sense. So I'm looking at this thing going, man, no wonder why they could do it, because the hardest thing to do is when you have a high voltage field is to pull the magnetic field. But if they're giving it to you already with the magnets, and the best part about it is it presents as a non-magnetic field on the outside of the core, but the magnetic field's on the inside of the core. So the dielectric follows the magnetic field. That's why it's diving into it. That's why it's pulling it in like this, because it literally is not expanding like this. So normally you put wire on a core and it expands like this in a magnetic field. This wasn't doing that. When you pinged it, it pulled in. Totally different concept.
Well, right. I mean, the interesting thing about it is that if you take a toroidal structure concept and you were to reverse the application of it, where you have a field building out in the middle, but then the squeeze on the outside, that's what you end up with.
Yeah.
Is compressing something that's trying to expand otherwise. It's just a matter of putting the shoe on the other foot.
Well, yeah, but
And
it was the fact that Bearden said the negative E field, which basically meant the negative electric field, which is exactly what we're talking about, which gave him the opportunity because it didn't build out in heat. You know what I mean? Because magnetic fields build out in heat like this. But because it's magnets, there was no heat. So it gave you the magnetic portion, which gave you the amperage field, but you didn't have to pay for it. Totally. Sorry, it just hit me when I was watching the videos because I watched like 5 in a row trying to figure this thing out. And I'm going, okay, I got this. I've seen this already in my garage. So
yeah, well, I mean, once you know what every component of it does, then you start knowing what the fields do in onto themselves, you could start to break down and figure out what the field interactions look like at that point. And sort of the key to it, it's all interesting stuff. And I mean, it is very complicated, but at the same time, it's very simple. So,
but there was a key point to it, Joe, and it had to do with the resonance frequency of the iron itself.
okay.
Because when they swept it on the 2 rings that were actually getting pulsed, they swept it just like a radio frequency sweep in a Tesla coil, where you go through and you look for the high points in it and where it pings, and then go
Right.
for the next one. So you know it's resonant to each other. Well, that was like a mind-blowing thing right there, because it was like, okay, I know how to do that. And that explains why it's giving such a high value out of it, because it's resonating with it immediately.
Right.
It immediately gave it a huge field that was like a quick burst and then an immediate suction. Yeah.
Yeah. Something that's interesting that we've never really touched on, but it touches on what you're saying now is, like what makes something ferromagnetic, right? Like what's the significance of iron to make it be magnetic. Realistically, in my opinion, just it's got to be one of two things. It's either got to be molecular crystal structure, right? Which would make sense because you have iron that's magnetic, you have steel that's magnetic, but then the more alloying you do to the iron to create higher grades of steel, when you by adding a nickel and this and that, the next thing, it becomes less and less magnetic because you're injecting new things into the in-betweens of the crystal structure of the iron itself, right? So I think that has to do with it, but there's obviously also a direct correlation with that crystal lattice structure and the native resonant frequency of it. So when you kind of break it down to that main constituent of resonant frequency, you realize that there must be a constant there that exists to a degree that makes iron just simply more resonantly compatible with that of what magnetic field generally falls into.
So check it
And
out. Sorry. I was watching a video on Sean's Electrics on what they were doing, and it had to do with where all the alignment were in each piece of metal, anything, plastics, and when you align them correctly to a flow. So all of them are going different ways in the steel and everything like that. But then as soon as you hit a magnetic field, they align.
Right?
Yeah. So that's what was going on there, and there was a specific word for it. I couldn't remember, but it's that alignment.
Well, that's that. Okay, so there's different types of lattices, and this goes right back to episode number 1, which I wish we could play some of. Anyway, when I was talking about the rock, okay, the rock has a Kogam lattice structure. Okay, it's a 5-pointed star with a pentagon inside.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that particular lattice structure falls, it's perfectly symmetrical, but at the same time, there's too much room for there to be any set alignment. So what that becomes is a multiferroic. It becomes multiferroic, meaning that it could have polar shifts.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's that polar shifting within that, which is again to do with the alignment and the fact that the alignments can change, and they can change randomly or based on stimulus and excitement, and causing them to have excited moments and things of that nature based on natural or external stimulation, and that directly impacts its electromagnetic properties, as well as its ferromagnetic properties. So that's what makes it a multiferroic material.
Got it.
It directly aligns with kind of what you're saying about the alignments and everything, but it's still that those alignments all directly have to do with the lattice structure. And if not one, then not the other.
I was trying to get to is I think that's the bridge that's filling it in. Let's see what Jarvis has got going on. What's up, Jarvis?
Hey, I hope I'm not lagging too much, guys.
No, you're good, brother. What's up, man?
I was actually performing a defrag. You know how like if you're trying to defrag your computer, it's got like background stuff, but we'll try to get through it. Like the cool thing about me and Sean, the patent we're working on, these are the glass beads, and they're circular, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like imagine just rubbing 2 plastics to charge these beads. So you're getting good contact because they're beads. They're almost like little ball bearings that you're rubbing between 2 pieces of plastic to get these glass beads charged. Now, the charge density is based on the charge of these. Even though it's a microcoulomb per glass bead, it could be thousands of microcoulombs on the accumulation of those beads.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going after is what's called a space charge. It's the volume of the electret, because usually when you make an electret, you're polarizing, say, a plastic, and you're arranging the molecules, and it gives it a surface charge, but the surface charge is very weak. And what we're trying to do is give it a volume charge. So throughout the whole volume, we're using an aggregate.
Mm.
And when you accumulate those aggregates, you can get to a column of charge. And that's our goal, is to get a column of charge into an electret. And we can do that by focusing on the volume charge. And that's why it's actually beneficial to aim for either a positive or a negative charge when it comes to this technique, because you just sandwich them together if you want to stack them. But working with glass, it's going to get a positive charge dominantly. And then when we polarize the dominant charge using a binder, it's going to have the volume of the charge. And that's what gives us charge density. Because normally if you do it in a conventional way, you're just getting a surface charge. What we're doing is
Well,
Sorry,
that's one
Ricky.
way to keep us in suspense.
Yeah, no kidding.
What we're doing is
46% humidity. So I have to make a dry pen. That's my next goal. I have to, because I live right to the like a lake is down the street and it evaporates water all day. It's been raining for a week straight. I can't get my room. I've got it down to like 32%. But ideally, when you do triboelectric methods, you want to have at least 20% or less to do triboelectric type of charging.
Okay, so Jarvis, real quick though. So if humidity is such a factor in your electric formation, okay, isn't there a material to isolate the humidity, the atmospheric humidity, from the internal structure and aggregate that's creating the charge, while still allowing the charge to pass through? Or not,
You frozen again?
Am I here?
You weren't. Did you hear what I said or no?
Yeah. Did you see what I was showing?
No.
This is the answer to your question. They're probably going to try to cut me out, guys. Okay, so imagine I have a bin that's like 2% humidity, and I put my hands through it and work in that atmosphere and triboelectrically charge, right? Then you're going to want to coat it with something like this. This is secret. Okay. That stands for, yeah, and we're progressing into it. We only have a year, but I'll disclose certain. No, I'm sorry, it's not SiO2. This is more along the line of SiO2, and this is to release it like with these molds. You would spray the mold with SiO2 type stuff with silicone to release the molds. You know what I mean?
Right. But wouldn't SiO2 act as both, hydrophobic material as on the external surface, but also
bro,
you
better know sand is not hydrophobic. It's hydrophilic. It wants
hydrophilic.
Yeah.
Well, but no, I'm not talking about sand. I'm talking about like SiO2 coating, like liquids in suspension.
Okay, well, this is the secret that you're asking. I'll give you the answer. This is what you're asking. Okay. I won't go into detail about it further because we're, in the process of doing this. But you're right. Once you have a dry environment and you triboelectrically charge this, you want to coat it so that water can't attack it. And you want to use a super hydrophobic material like a lily pad. They call it the lily pad effect. Like it.
Wow. He's got to fix that connection, man.
Like, well, yeah, I get what he's saying though. Lily pad effect. In other words, it's breaking the surface tension of the water. And
Oh, this is nuts, dude. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, but it's fun to explore because when you feel the volume, you're focused on one charge at a time. You could do both charges at a time, okay? And you know, why not try? I mean, I could take sulfur in these glass beads, shake them together, and they're gonna electrostatically cling. But then whenever I put them into this mold, I could separate those charges using whatever binder I choose to separate as they separate. But your goal with our patent is to get the volume charge. That's never been focused on. You know what I mean? That's the huge difference, and that's why we can get a column. We will get a column.
So, Jarvis, I got to ask you a question about this, okay? So,
before you do, Nathan, just real quick, hold down the fort. I gotta let my dog out, man. I've neglected him a little bit today since I had this whole wing situation with work and everything. So let me take him out.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's cool. Yeah. Oh, poor guy. My dog's been like that too.
Let me ask you this. It seems that when you guys put it in the aluminum foil, that it gains a charge. When you take it out of the aluminum foil, it loses a charge. My question is the charge going from the top of the electric back around to the bottom and straightening out every little pin or whatever you want to call it to accumulate more charge? So basically it's able to race through it a little faster without any disturbances. Is that what's going on? Are you there? Well, see, I'm thinking it's eddy currents too, a little bit. There,
Am I here?
yeah, you're here now. So, did you hear the question?
Yes. And okay, so it depends on the application, but I think I know what you're saying. Normally, yes, what you're trying to do is really orient the electric field, you know, and just imagine a bunch of sea urchins packed together. And when you apply the electric field, you're just trying to guide the electric field from all those little bitty aggregates.
Okay, but I'm specifically talking about after he's melted it and he's got it done and it's in the aluminum foil. It's gaining a charge inside the foil, but when he takes it out, it loses a charge.
There's a secret there that I can't say right now, but we'll talk about that later. You're close to what you displayed on your video, and I'm not saying you're wrong. You're right, you know, but there's okay. If I could say one thing, it'd probably hinder you, but be a little subtle. Remember the Holy Trinity with the neutral.
Okay.
The neutral is important there. That's all I'll say about that.
Oh, well, that makes sense. It makes more sense as like building a capacitor kind of thing. You need certain material. Dude,
everybody's focused on the positive and negative, don't know what neutral does, but you have to utilize the neutral as well. It's a holy trinity, you know what I mean? It's not yes or no, it's maybe sometimes.
No, because this is exactly where T.T. Brown went on those capacitor plates when he was doing this, because he needed a heavy static charge and the high K value, but he needed to do it in capacitance form so that it continues to grow. But it also stabilizes the amount of energy, so it doesn't go and get lost, and it doesn't stay all together in one. It's a mixture of both.
And T.T. Brown knew that the shape mattered. That's why the asymmetric capacitance, you know, and we have people interested in that too. But the goal, the difference is primarily monopoles, magnetoelectrics, and charge density.
Well,
Those three things can't, like other electrics or magnetoelectrics can't compete with that.
well, hold on. I think the problem I'm coming up with is in the foil, you're in a continuous charge state. Out of the foil, you're in a state where it's in decay.
I can't go there.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm seeing in what Sean's testing.
But there's
So, no,
another
no,
level.
no, I get that. But the goal would be to put it in a continuous charge state, regardless of the method, which you probably won't tell me. But I'm saying the goal would be to continuously charge state and then lock it in, okay, so that the environmental conditions can no longer affect it, so that it's in the charge state, locked out of everything else that could come near to affect it, so you get the energy no matter what. As
Yes.
long as you don't cover it completely. I think that's a big problem there.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
We'll leave it at that. We'll talk about something else.
Yeah, I can talk to you backstage about that.
Yeah, well,
Because
I was just trying to help Sean. I was going down a
Yeah.
train of thought.
no, yeah, but we're on a good trajectory, and all these things will be known eventually. We're not gonna keep it back. You know what I mean? But for now,
You got to prove it out first on your
in
own
order,
lab.
yeah, in order to, you know what I mean? It's like a diver. You don't want to flip 3 times when you're trying to flip 2.5 and dive.
No, I
You know,
understand.
it's all about the timing. We got to strike when the iron's hot, and information to make it better will be disclosed, but just not right now. But you're right.
That's fine.
You're right, though. Yeah. That's why I love you, Nathan, because I mean, you're the only, well, you know, in Faraday and other channels, you know, Bernie is awesome too. But if it weren't for us all working together, we're not going to get there. We have to work together. You know what I mean?
So we're all working on a different part of the puzzle.
Yeah. Yep. There is no one key to it all, but it all starts to make sense whenever you watch this type of content, you know, because we've been leaving breadcrumbs throughout the whole thing. And because
we haven't just been leaving breadcrumbs, we're telling them where to look. I mean, when I tell you the Meg's pulling in a negative E field, I'm giving away the entire process there. When I'm telling you that he's using magnets in order to get his magnetic field out of the thing that you need, I'm telling you something. You know what I mean? I'm giving away the answer before you ask the question, so that when you go down and watch this video, you're going to go, oh, he already said that's the way it worked.
Imagine a world where you actually have a magnetic capacitor, to where you could literally just plug a magnet into a circuit, okay, and have a completely different magnetic circuit instead of an electric circuit. Like, what we think of physics is not complete. It's not at all. And we pretend like it is.
Well, they don't do the negative side. They in physics, the magnetic field is always going out. It's never coming in, and that's a problem.
Well,
because the best effects are when they pull in.
I think it's going out, coming through the middle, and going out and coming through the middle. It's like this little, like I call it a twisted electric field. A magnetic field is just like twisting.
Well,
it's like a tornado. It's a tornado that eats its own tail, like the Ouroboros.
No, I get that.
Yeah, Ouroboros. That's right.
But I'm looking at it as the dielectric always tries to catch the magnetic field. It's always chasing it, right? Mm-hmm. So it makes it a little easier to understand. You say if you already have the magnetic field created, your dielectric's going to chase it. So it's going to pull in if that's where it is. It's going to push out if that's where it is, because it's in a chase mode, which means anywhere you put it, you still have energy.
If you're interested in the physics of that, that's just the Lorentz force. You know what I mean? Just for the chat. If you're interested in how magnetism can either be centripetal or centrifugal, it's called the Lorentz force. And Nathan's absolutely correct on that. You know, but I try to say to people, like, imagine making a magnet, and then you're like, I'm gonna make a compass for some reason, but you figure out how to make a compass, and people are like, so what else can you do with it? You know, and it's just a compass, you know. But with electrics, it's going to open avenues that you can't even think of right now.
Okay, so
Just
hold
like
on.
the magnet, dude.
Let me, because I don't want to get too much in the electrics because we have a barrier we can't pass. So
Okay.
let's go to Floyd Sweet a little bit.
Yes,
Okay.
I love Floyd Sweet. He's one of my favorite inventors.
Okay, so what I noticed in watching his video, and that he has lights and stuff in there. So he's getting the magnetic field for free. He's putting in the dielectric, right? So he's putting in the electricity of it, or the voltage, I should say. So what happens is when he reaches that temperature point, there's a point in the temperature where the field flips to hot. It stays cold, the magnetics stay inside, but then he hits that one temperature spot and then it crosses over and changes all the energy to a positive energy, immediately goes hot, and he's able to use it. But if he can control where it goes hot and flipping the field back and forth, he can pull the energy out at will to a capacitor, all positive. It never has to go negative.
Yeah,
All he has to do.
he started off making transformers. Like he's a master transformer guy, and he noticed these subtle phenomena, and he tried to reproduce it with the barium ferrite. You know, and barium ferrite is both an electric material and a magnetic material. If you add barium titanate, it will actually make it more of an electric material too. So it's a magnetoelectric, but the programming, everybody thinks about the magnetic field and not focused on the electric field. And that's what Nathan's talking about. Is it's just not the magnetic field that he was doing there. He was programming both fields, and it matters the orientation of both those fields. Once you get, yeah. So Nathan knows what he's saying, man.
Right. I mean, it's more or less like if you have a spinning yin yang field, you know, and you're able to turn it, you're able just to pull it at that one time where you know the equilibrium is, you know, where it's hot and usable, and you pull it just as it's happening. And it's the same as when they talk about these you know, excitation events where you have colliding photons where they split the photon, but then they can't sustain that split, so then they collapse again, and it creates like an abundance of energy off the collision. You could extract all of that energy, but the fact is that it's still going to recoalesce, and you know, when it recoalesces, there's no loss, so it's pure gain, no loss.
Well, I'd like your opinion on this. What if, okay, you know, Jupiter is putting out more heat than they can explain physically, right? It's putting out more energy than they can explain. It's almost like a brown dwarf, but it hasn't actually gone into the brown dwarf. What if the energy from the sun and Jupiter made the asteroid belt by what you're saying with the photons colliding? And instead of a planet that exploded or whatever to make the asteroid belt, what if the circulation of those two planets are literally making iron in the belt? Like a
well, I
thin
mean, that well could be. And you know, it's interesting because that touches on something that you know, again, Nathan and I have discussed so much stuff that I always refer back to, like, well, you know, we talked about this already. Like, no, so we talked about the planets and just sort of you know, we had a little bit of a different opinion about magnetic fields and how they come about stuff, but it's neither here nor there. I think that one of the key points of where I'm trying to go with it is, though, when we were talking about Saturn and Jupiter, and you know, they're like pseudo stars in a way. And realistically, the only thing that prevents them from being another full blown star is they're either going to reach a state of total depletion where they're burned up right down to the core and basically cease to exist, more or less, except for whatever solid portions in the middle, which I'm convinced personally that they're diamonds in the middle. I have my reasons for that.
Could be. Let me mention this for a second because I do love this topic. Like I started off as a child interested in astrology or astronomy and the physics, like celestial dynamics. But okay, Mercury or I'm sorry, Mars. It's basically getting.
Oh, leaving us in
Jarvis,
suspension
pay
again.
for better internet, bro. Yo,
Because
come
it's
on,
a
gig up
Starlink.
down. It's 2025. It's not a big deal. I'll live in the boonies and I got gig up down.
I'm sorry.
I know I'm breaking your chops, bro.
It's still got polar ice caps. What is causing the poles to freeze? Like when it comes to thermodynamics,
Pressure.
you really can't.
Pressure. Because at the end of the day, when you look at any sort of rotating and orbiting body, it's not spherical, it's elliptical. And at your poles, you're going to have much higher compression than at the equatorial planes. So you end up, it's the same reason that we have frozen caps. It has less
when
to
it
do
comes-
with the angle of the sun and more to do with the rotation.
But when it comes strictly to thermodynamics, they can't explain that. I agree with you. But without considering that and just saying that, how does this polar ice cap survive when it's being bombarded by cosmic rays from the sun? You know what I mean?
Well, because I mean the mass of the planet alone. See, and that actually delves right back into what I was saying initially, which was the idea that it's a pseudo star because it has like star-like potential. Okay, but it just hasn't decided whether it's going to enter into a state of fusion or fission yet, simply because it is in a state of equilibrium because of the locking orbit with the sun keeps it in that equilibrium, and the magnetic field that manifests off of that type of mass of hydrogen and other elements, mostly hydrogen, is such it's so out of proportion, that the energy that interacts with it from the sun, the radiant energy from the sun, is the manifest cause of the the magnetic fields. Those magnetic fields directly correlate with the locking in position and the equilibrium state that it's in.
It probably plays a part, but I don't think it's the origin of the magnetic field.
But what happens when those ratios go off is the point, right? So when those ratios go off.
And one more thing when it comes to thermodynamics. Why are we even focused on thermodynamics? Because electrodynamics are completely different. We know that we can use charge and magnetism to control, but with heat, why are we even saying that thermodynamics is the king when the king has no clothing? The true thing you need to focus on is electrodynamics, not thermodynamics.
I'm in full-blown agreement with you because the heat is just simply a byproduct of the latter. Yes. So you may not be able to destroy energy, but it could change.
It's the king of science, but it's not. It's a side effect.
I mean, we need to, we could agree on certain, like entropy is entropy, right? But entropy is entropy whether it's thermodynamics or electrodynamics, because everything is trying to go into a state of rest. And at the end of the day, like anytime you have matter in the presence of energy, there is no rest. So there's always going to be sporadic, because it's matter that causes a disturbance of the potential. The disturbance of the potential is the manifestation of electromagnetic force.
If entropy always won, you wouldn't be able to remember this conversation right here. It takes a reduction in
I agree with John here, by the way. Just real quick, I'll interject. I think the height to get to the atmosphere is different on the poles than it is everywhere else.
Absolutely.
He's saying it pulls in the atmosphere, which basically pulls in the coldest space into the planet itself at those poles. So that makes all the sense in the world.
But
That's exactly it.
and this is, yeah, I agree. And it's endothermic, though, is the thing. Like, that's why thermodynamics fails, because it's an endothermic process that's going on there in order to explain it.
I mean, there's certain things like for instance with thermodynamics. I mean, that would suggest that the core of the Earth has been cooling since it stopped heating, right? But yet it's still molten and still maintaining some kind of stability, as far as any argument and any discussion that I've ever heard. And why is that? Well, that's because there's still motion, right? That's occurring of the planet. It's still occurring within the planet. There's torsion zones that are occurring due to different rates of turn and etc. that cause these, entropy to kind of take a back seat, but there's nothing actually physically working necessarily other than physics itself on creating these heat sources that maintain and disrupt, entropy.
Well, as long as
In
the
like the core of the
equator's
Earth, for instance.
as long as the equator's hot, you know that the Earth's working. The heat comes out sideways. It goes out this way. You know what I mean? When the cold comes in this way. That's the way it's been working forever.
Yeah, and even the sun, I mean, the Parkle spiral, if you look into the Parkle spiral, there's literally a spiral coming off the Bloch wall of the sun. Even though the sun flips its fields every 11 years, because Jupiter and the sun are literally like a brown dwarf almost in sun type of dynamic. And the reason the sun flips its field every 11 years is because of the dynamics of Jupiter, and they're like in a dance. And the Parker spiral is located right at the dielectric plane, is what I forgot his name, the magnet guy, Ken Wheeler. He calls it the dielectric plane. It's the Bloch wall, and the Parker spiral literally spirals out into the solar system, and that's not very talked about. The Parker spiral is very important, though, because it's showing what Nathan's saying. There's literally something going on here that we're not aware of conventionally, but it happens. Yes.
There's a lot going on that we don't discuss. How many vectors of motion are we currently experiencing? Because frankly, I think that by the time you zoom out and you realize what our motion actually is, you realize something insane.
I wrote a paper.
You're zipping around in such a way at any given time.
I wrote a paper. Say you're on the equator and you're looking at a mountain, and your reference frame, the mountain standing still. But on the equator, it's literally traveling 1,000 miles per hour as the Earth spins. There's no such thing as rest, because even as that's traveling at 1,000 miles per hour as the Earth spins, the Earth is going around the sun, and it increases its velocity to about 15,000 miles per hour, and that's a mountain that you say.
And then the sun is, we're in a solar system, and our solar system is inside of a galaxy. And
but in order for one thing to be at rest, everything would have to be at rest, because everything is relative to the motion of everything else. That's
exactly.
There's no such thing as true rest. And like they did an experiment to try to bring the speed of light down to zero. Even if they brought it down to zero in the laboratory is still spinning around the Earth. There's no way. The only way is to stop everything. Everything would freeze.
Only one way to do that, brother, that I know of.
I can't talk about time, though. That's one of the things I can't talk about.
I think they look at the wrong aspect of it. Is you're out of sync when you're out of motion. So when you go into space, people have problems when they get back because they're out of sync with the motion of the Earth. And they're looking at it that way. They're thinking, the opposite of everything. That's why I say the magnetics is the same way. They're always, instead of looking at the Lorentz force, they start looking at, just magnetic fields, and they're in the wrong side of it. Without that other side, you can't understand the equalization of everything, which means that you'll never understand how the sun works and everything else, because you're not looking at the other half of it. You have to look at it from the outside perspective of the other half, and then you get it. But when you deny people that and keep saying it's not real, well, then you're the problem. You're flat out the problem. I see that all day long.
But they're
Hey,
getting
listen, I think there's serious irony in calling magic smoke and mirrors when the reality is actually smoke and mirrors. You know, like, what else do you need to know? You have two sides of everything. Everything's a reflection of something else, and
That's a good way to put it.
just the other side of the coin, man. It's all just smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, but it is beautiful to know that we're not restricted by the, I hate to cuss, but bullshit that they put on us. We're not restricted by that. You know what I mean? Like the people that participate with this know that there's something bigger, and it gives us faith in working together. We can do whatever we want to do. It doesn't matter what they say we can't do, because once we do it, it's done. You know what I mean? They can say we can't. They said a plane couldn't fly faster than the speed of sound because the plane would just break apart. You know what I mean? They're always telling you can't do something, but we do it anyways.
Yeah.
We're the only people doing it, you know? So we have to work together and do it, and just say, look, you can say whatever you want, but we're literally doing this. So,
Well,
and
the thing is, they still argue with you after you do the experiment.
yeah,
like,
but I don't like.
it was right in front of you. What do you want me to say to you? Because there's nothing
Oh, this
more to
camera
say at this
trick.
point.
You had something under the table.
Yeah.
You didn't film it live for 6 hours straight while you're performing this experiment. You could have cut the video.
Oh, dude, I gotta tell you, anything that I show you, I can do right in front of you, without fail. There's no getting around that.
And
listen, I'm full blown convinced that you're gonna send Deadfish friggin' this Tesla coil, and in a week's time, he's gonna have some shit floating over his desk, and we're all just gonna be like, "Oops."
Dude,
That's the way to do it.
it's gonna be a big ass quartz crystal in the middle of it.
Yeah, he's gonna do it. It's just gonna be the right way. That's
He's
it.
gonna find the biggest one he can to stick in the center. That's so great. He said, "Yeah, he will."
Yeah. Listen, man. You know,
Dude,
like
he is set. That is the quartz crystal that powered that thing, and he saw it up close. And I always josh on him a little bit just to play with it. I was like, "What if it's a diamond?" He's like, "Dude, you can't get a big ass diamond like that." And I was like, "Well, if they know alchemy, maybe they can like construct some big ass diamond. I don't know. I mean, they're like light years ahead of us."
I think he's gonna run into.
He's like, "Dude, it's quartz.
Frequency of the he's got to get the frequency of the quartz, not the frequency of the Tesla coil. That's gonna be this bigger thing. I think that's what it is, because you could tell the frequency on the discharge rate of the thing you were sitting next to. Just sit there with your stopwatch and check it, right? And then you could just see what the distance is right there between the time, and then set your frequency to that, and then just put it in water, set the frequency in there, and I guarantee you it'll start pinging back at you. Because the energy comes out in water when you deal with any kind of crystal, it ping. So ping back at it with the right frequency. And if you already had it, based on what that video showed, yeah, it's easy.
Well, if I may say, I agree, but I would start with deionized water. I know it's a little expensive, but it's basically distilled and has like 7 pH, like no mineralization. And that's it's literally one of the best dielectric materials you can have, because tap water has, you know, chlorine and stuff like that that's going to throw off the dielectric, and you know. But if you had pure deionized water, it almost acts like an oil. It's actually better than oil when it comes to the dielectric strength. And oil is like a 7 at its highest, and deionized water is 80.
Okay, so hold on. I have distilled water here. Would it make a difference when I put the one wire in the energy into that? It would produce a different field?
Besides deionized water, distilled is the next thing. Yeah. And
so it wouldn't produce much of a field because I'm working with a mineral content.
No, it would. It would act almost like iron acts with magnetism. It would act with an electric field.
Okay.
Well, if you started with distilled water and then you were you were putting charge into it, I mean, it's going to ionize after a while, regardless.
Yeah,
Right.
well,
So,
yeah, but it acts like a dielectric. The point
Right.
being here is it acting like iron in a way with a magnetic field, but it acts like that with an electric
oh,
field.
so here we are talking about simulating matter again.
Yeah, we're warping the material universe around us to basically do these things. But the cool thing about electrics is these matter are everywhere. It's not rare earth, and you don't have to go to war for it and stuff. That's what I'm trying to promote this, because it's really a good step to go on. Because
Right, yeah, you could stop giving money to the Ukraine in hopes of a mineral, better
Right.
mineral deal.
all that would have been stepped if we just worked with sulfur and sand. I mean, as a basic thing, and sulfur and sand is literally everywhere. And you know, it's not rare earth. It's an unexplored thing, and I want like pioneers to work with us, you know, like you guys, because it's not going to come down to just one person, but the idea of it can develop and people can catch on and understand that it is almost like some guy with a magnet, like, what do we do with this? And then the Industrial Revolution happened. You know what I mean? It's potentially like that. That's why Sean's the man, dude. I wish I could share some of the secret things but I can't share it now. We'll share it later. But he's really kicking butt.
Well, Sean's smart. That's why.
Yeah, man.
Sean is very smart. Sean's also very humble.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, I can tell you this right now. When I need advice for my stuff, I usually hit up Sean on the Facebook and ask him the question because he knows the answer.
Yeah, and there's a learning curve. You know what I mean? Like, it's understandable. And even if you do make an electric, sometimes it takes almost a month to set if you do it right. And like I told him, it's like fine wine.
Oh,
Yeah, we all have different skills here, and it's good, you know, that we talk and coalesce all these things together, because that's where it matters, you know. I mean, Sean shows me things that blows me away, but then he asks me about what I see in it, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, oh, well, I mean, XYZ. He's like, I didn't even think of that. And then he's like, now he's working with that, and then he's going to you with it, and then you know,
it's the man with the it's the man with the compass and being like, hey, look what I made, and people are like, so what?
Right.
I think, Joe, to be honest with you, if you use your camera skills, man, and just dial down on some of this plasma that he's putting out, man, there's so much there because the speed and everything. We're learning now. It's switching the light bulbs and stuff from tennis. You know what I mean? Things like that. Massively important, and I'm completely lost on it.
Well, the whole thing is that you know, there's certain things like I could see, for instance, you know, whether it's playing with the cameras or not, you know, just in some of the still shots of his work. Obviously, if you work with the camera aspect of it, you're just going to get better results to work with, more reliable results. But there's quantifiable information that can be ascertained from, you know, all these still images or photos, whatever have you, if it were more scientifically taken, you know, like less entertainmentally taken, you know, to show what's doing, just whatever, and more scientifically taken. Like if we were able to get accurate measurements, for instance, of one particular discharge of, you know, his Tesla coils, right? Right from there, if you could start realize what the spin rate of the tendrils are, you know, because they have a caduceus movement to them that is happening way too fast to observe, way too fast to observe. Okay.
Mhm.
But that the fact that you can't observe it is almost secondary to seeing what the actual ratios of that caduceus pattern are, because the combination to the lock is the ratios. Okay, so when you get these ratios, that is your combination to the lock that would open up all the stuff that we talk about all the time. Once you get those ratios down and synchronize everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that has directly to do with resonance. But you have to realize something, one number off or one number in the wrong spot, and it doesn't work. Right? So when you start doing it more scientifically and you're able to get this data, and then you're able to get this data over a set to where you totally understand what the sequence and pattern is and what the distances are like. Now you can come up with a set of ratios that act as a combination to fully exploit the plasmatic discharges that you're observing, because there's a direct correlation between the plasmatic discharges and also the internal compression zones that are occurring, from the geometric coils that he's making. So that to me is the critical aspect. I mean, I can't really know exactly what the most effective way to obtain that data is, but that's something that we have to figure out.
So,
And it's something that we should work toward too, because that's what it would take us from the level of something nice to see and something entertaining to something where we could say, here is the result, the actual result.
so something popped in my head while you're saying that. If I take a Tesla coil and I put a primary at the height of every frequency that was resonant, and then the number one coil matched the secondary coil at that level each time, I wonder what my discharge would be if I can hit them in sequence. You know what I mean? Hit this primary to start it, this one to get the next one, this one to get the next one, and this one be right before it discharges. You know what I mean? I wonder what that output would be, because that might be something cool to look at. Because I was looking at it from the aspect of pulling each individual one out, but I guess it would make sense to fire them in a sequence, like you're saying.
Well, they do, but here's the thing. They kind of sort of do fire in a sequence. It may not be so apparent because it may not be the same each cycle, okay? But it might be, let's say, every 3 cycles, then it repeats. Or every 7 cycles, and it repeats. Whatever the number is. But these are the numbers that you have to identify. What these sequences are, okay? Where it's hitting at each time to see if the pattern's there. And based on a visual inspection of it, although it's very, very hard, if not impossible, to quantify exactly what that sequence is or how frequently it repeats or, what the accuracy of it is, that's the data that we need to know in order to make the determination. Visual inspection shows that there is some kind of repeating pattern because you'll see that it'll be hot at this spot and then move around and then skip that spot, but then be hot at that spot again. And then, so visual inspection says that it's present, but what is it? Then that's where it's hard because the camera's not picking up each and every discharge. And it's not per cycle. If it were per cycle, that makes it easy. But it's almost never going to be per cycle because per cycle is implicative of pi, not phi. And we know that it's working probably closer to phi than pi, right? So it would at least be, but that's your ratio at that point. And it's only an example that I'm giving, I'm not saying it's phi that it works off of. I'm just saying that phi is representative of a ratio, right? Pi, on the other hand, even though there really is no ratio in that circumstance because the 3.14 of pi is representative of one cycle, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
And pi is always involved with time, always.
So that's sort of what what I wonder here is how many cycles with fraction included till a repeat occurs, and then what is each tendril doing?
If I may, the question for a second, I think everybody in chat wants to know this question. Do you guys need to poop?
Do we need to poop? You know what you just asked me? No, I don't have poop problems right now.
I feel great, honestly, man. Like I said, I eat spicy food all the
Dude,
time.
Nathan, I was concerned for a little bit, man. But you
I
look
mean,
okay.
listen, you talk to me tomorrow, man. Like I might have like a midnight horror story for you, but like at the
Oh
moment,
my.
Good. I'm just joshing.
the afterburn's not bad on it either. At this point, I mean, it's gone. It's gone entirely.
Oh yeah, I'm okay now. Yeah, it took a
Nathan's
while.
got the fire in the background of the chat.
Oh yeah. Dude, that thing got me. Like it was.
I'm not even
It
gonna
was
lie,
building,
man. Like I was worried
and
about
then
it.
it stuck.
I was trying to joke like 38 minutes later. You know, the SpongeBob guy.
Oh,
But you guys
dude,
are
yeah.
rocking it, man. That's why you're troopers. You're not poopers.
We're trying to make it fun, man. It's just like, you know, we always come in here, we start off serious and then go off the rails. I said to Nathan, I was like, you know what? We have people that watch us, the same exact people every week, and then you get your throw-ins there too. I was like, if we start off the rails, nobody's gonna leave for it. It's fine. You know? And I was like, and listen, if you give some shit away, then they'll have incentive to come and watch.
I am interested in seeing what Dead's going to do with that, though. Because the last experiment with the wire around the, was it a fluorescent bulb with the high-speed camera and the different colors?
Yeah, that was Dennis.
That was rad.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really like that one. I tried so hard with my camera, and I'm such a bad person with a camera. I couldn't do it.
Do you know if it was a fluorescent bulb? Do you know
It
what
was
kind of
no, it was just a regular fluorescent bulb. That's all it was. He just wrapped the one wire around it, and he was able to catch the pulse rate of it based on his camera shutter speed or whatever it was, the speed of his camera in slow
Yeah, that high-
motion. I couldn't figure it out on both the cameras that I have. So I may borrow the wife's phone and see if it does it. Maybe it has a different slow motion than mine, but yeah.
Did you try the same speed that he suggested?
My camera has one slow motion feature, not two, and the
Okay.
newer ones have two. So I think that was the problem.
Do you know?
Well,
I mean,
we could
I
talk
love
off air about your phone and how to make it work. I mean, phone cameras are actually really incredible these days. And I love photography. You know, like I've had DSLRs my entire life and love them, still do. You know, whatever. But I'm telling you, man, like these phone cameras are way more capable than a camera that you would generally go out and be able to afford to buy.
Mm.
So, you know, if you have a good phone, and that's kind of the caveat to it. If you have a good phone.
I don't think that I do. I think I have a cheapie. I have this, so
Yeah, I mean, listen.
ZVE 10 to
Yeah, what is that? That's shutterless.
yeah. I don't know.
Right, it's something. What brand is it?
It's a Sony.
That's Sony.
Yeah.
All right, so I mean, I'm not at war with you because it's not a Nikon, so that's fine. I like Canon, so this is what it is. Yeah, man. I'm sure we could figure something out. We'll do that off air, not waste everybody's time about it. But we should
I'm
probably
wondering
figure out
if,
your settings.
like without doxing him, I'm wondering if his area matters for that. Like, what if he's like compare the equator in a different latitude? Maybe that matters.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to dox him or figure out where he's located, but you know, some of these like experiments I was suggesting to Sean is literally like where you're located on the Earth matters, and what time of season matters. If it's a full moon matters. You know what I mean?
I live about an hour and a half, I think, maybe 2 hours from Big Rock. So I'm not that far from that ley line.
Yeah, you're almost you're you're above the equator, right?
I have no idea.
Well,
I'm over by San Diego, so wherever that is on the equator.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, for what it's worth about all the variables, and this is something that we've discussed before to a degree too, but relevant here. The ultimate goal beyond achieving these things in the first place is being able to achieve them in, you know, an adjustable fashion where it's self-correcting, because you need it to work. Like you can't sit there and have a humid ass day and have it just simply not work. Like it's not going to go well there. And that's where the geometric coils, in my opinion, come in. You know, because once you get a self-modulated pattern, you know, flow pattern through the geometries of the coil, now all of a sudden it's those pulse patterns that become the self-sustaining mechanism of the effects.
I think one
as
big
opposed
thing
to the
you need
input.
to realize at this point is that the Earth is pretty much an almost inexhaustible power source if you understand the Earth itself. Like Victor Schauberger, understand and copy nature. You know, nature is showing us every day 100 lightning strikes a second. Nature's just naturally doing it. It's not trying to do it. You know what I mean?
Well, if you think about it, there's never been a moment in Earth's history where water was on the surface and that water did not move.
Yeah, water's key. Carbon's key.
But think about what an anomaly. That's why people wonder why water is so significant. And there's various reasons, but one of the reasons is because you realize that liquid is an anomaly.
Why would you wonder why water is? Dude, water is like the.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, right.
If you don't get that, then I'm sorry.
Liquid. Well, I'm just saying, though, liquid is an anomaly.
Yeah,
that's not the norm.
Yeah,
hey, man, hold on
that's
a minute,
not
guys.
the norm at all.
Oh, hold on. Why known writers? Can you say that word, Joe?
Yeah, Winona Riders, like the
Winona
actress
Riders.
with an S at the end.
Oh, there you go.
She was hot back in the day, bro, and she kind of held up too.
Beetlejuice.
Hell yeah!
I just want to say thank you for
Edward
that, man. I really
Scissorhands.
appreciate it. Right on, man.
So
yeah, man, right on.
Rid of my flip phone.
You had to get rid of your flip phone
on the-
because I couldn't run the lift out.
Oh,
My bro's best friend's wedding. Nice.
dang.
Hey, listen,
Thanks, man.
bittersweet moment there, buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, Winona Ryder could be a woman, but thank you.
Dude. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I had to do. Oh, also, dead fish. Please, if you put that quartz down the center, make sure it's not touching the sides where you get some sparkage going on because you'll ruin the coil. Also, make sure that you turn the coil off before you insert it. Don't do it while it's live. It wouldn't be a fun experience for you, and you'll probably fry the inside of the coil. There's a coil over my shoulder that I fried the inside of because the wire got too close to the wiring on the inside, and that immediately sparked. So if you got a quartz that you want to put in there, just make sure that it's off of the side so it doesn't hit.
That's good advice.
I'll make a recommendation now that you guys have each other's email. If Deadfish, if you're on Facebook or whatever, just friend Nathan on Facebook, get him on Messenger. So if you're going to do something that is outside the norm with it, just shoot him a message. He's super good at getting back to you. So,
well, dude, from one perspective, bought a coil for me, dude. We chatted. He's got a cool thing going on there, man. Like, all those sounds you hear when I do the live show? All those, he picked up a frequency generator that has an antenna that you could put next to this coil, which he did. And it picked up all the sounds and exactly where the peaks and valleys were and everything that went on with it, which is awesome, dude. It's $50. It's a plug into your computer.
It would be
so
I want to see it. He's got to put up a video.
One right here.
Yeah, he said he was going to make a video on it, man. I want to see it because that whole thing was awesome.
A frequency counter.
It's funny. Deadfish read my mind because that when you said don't touch, like right in my head, I was like thinking to myself, like, well, I mean, you could probably put it in some kind of plastic tube or something like that. But then seconds later, he types it out. I mean, Nathan's the expert on this. I'm going to say you could absolutely do that. There would be no issue there. But
yeah. The cool thing about this is that like there's sparking going on. I can get the frequency. It's a frequency counter. So then I would set the frequency generator, like you say. So I'll have this, and you could use a radio, and like old school, they would use a radio and microphone record it, and then use audio equipment to see the waveform of it. But with this, I can just get the frequency and then set my, and it's more for spark plug based stuff. And you got to be careful doing that. I mean, I have to just say, if you get too far along, the FDA will come to your door eventually. But if you're experimenting with spark gaps, a frequency counter is really cool. This thing, it will, you put it next to the spark gap and it'll tell you the frequency of it. And then you can use beat frequencies like Nathan talks about a lot. Beat frequencies are really fun to explore because...
dude, I got one for you. Okay, check this out. You have a Tesla coil and you have a high voltage field, so a DC flyback, okay? You know those little bus bars they use? And they're individually for, like, this one goes to this one goes... You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I was having a problem with the beat frequency because it was leaching off of the other field. And people didn't understand what I was trying to tell them. When you have two fields that are able to come off of the wire and they can get in the air, you know what I mean? You get a leaching process. Have you ever dealt with that?
Yeah, Don Smith would use that on purpose, actually. Yeah. Don Smith would purposely detune his secondary using like a capacitor and resistor and just beat frequency it off. And that little detuning would give you the beat frequency to give you of a lower frequency.
You know what? Hear me out. So they used one of these damn bus bars on that gravity flyer, and I didn't figure it out till recently. It was the reason I couldn't get it in sync. The damn thing was run off a bus bar under the whole thing that was sitting there pulling and leaching from one another on that beat frequency. So you would get it to amplify real fast on the top, and then it would die out because it was looking to bounce back and forth. But I, in my stupidity, went and did not change that frequency, right? So I left the bus bar out. I ran the wires directly.
Okay.
It was a complete failure because I missed that effect.
Yeah, I think you get what I'm saying too, though. So you know the next step.
Yeah. Man, Winona Ryder's awesome, brother. Look at you go.
Yeah, man, coming in hard with that.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
the Tesla coil might be a good iron power project inside of an isolated environment, like a pulsating spear of mirrors in replicate super resonance. Oh my God.
Hey, I don't see an icon next to your name. If you want to become a member, you can get some cool emojis and stuff too. Thank you for donating, but there's some behind the scenes things you can have access to if you become a member. And you know, it's cool. We're just trying to build a cool community here. Thank you so much, Winona Ryder.
Yeah, that's really generous. Thank you.
By the way,
no, that's a good point that they made.
Yeah, we're going to isolate resonance really well. And I'm going to show that I've been working on this video for a while. And I had to change the environment. So I couldn't do it in my garage because I could never get the cleanest look. So I had to go to the island in my kitchen, right?
Oh, Winona. Sorry.
Oh, dude, right on. Can't remember. Right on, brother. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Or woman.
So let me tell you, I had to do this I tried it in my kitchen, and I'm knocking down appliances in my kitchen. Okay. And my wife's all pissed off at me. Get that crap out of my house. You're ruining my kitchen, right? So I have to find an area. I can't do it in my backyard because there's power lines in there. So I have to do it in my front yard. So here I am with these coils out there, and I started one up in the center, and the four on the outside, man, are bouncing this signal. You know what I mean? They're all completely resonant to each other.
You got like a broadcast station.
Oh, dude, it literally is a huge field. You could dance around this whole thing, and I'm going, oh my God, what did I do? But I've been working on this video for a while. It's hard to capture it, man, because your camera just breaks on me. So that's why I bought the other one, because I needed the zoom on it, and then I don't have a big enough zoom. I literally have to be like 20 feet from this thing to get the view of it. And then I got to find a way to stabilize the light bulbs around it. So I've been printing stuff off like crazy. Bro, this is not an easy thing to do, but I wanted it to be like the first one I did of a good video that had, I mean, everything, because it was like a monster field going on.
I can consult a little bit if you. I don't try to be, but I can give some advice on that backstage.
Okay.
Because I do have a bachelor's in engineering, and I've been focused on this for literally 20 years. So if you ever have any questions, I'm here for you, man.
Well, I appreciate it, because this field gets out of control quickly.
Yeah.
It doesn't, and I don't have obviously the technical experience like you guys do, but even just picking up that stupid face zapper thing, right? And I was showing you last week, right? So I had built that like little pseudo orgonite, right, where I had that S coil down at the bottom of the wax with different layers of quartz crystals and copper shavings and what else I have in there, little tiny balls of aluminum and then more quartz crystals, and it's all layered up, right? And I made sure that I put some make sure that S coil looped up around the top of the wax, that way I could hit it if I wanted to. As soon as you hit that damn that S coil with the high frequency, it goes through and excites everything, amplifies it, and then tosses it out from a magnetic field to a scalar field, and then starts screwing with the stuff in my room, turning on my old cell phones, turning on my vape lights, things making charging sounds.
Were you getting resonant hot? Were you like burn your finger on metal?
No, it's no heat at all. That's the crazy thing. It's just the arc. That's it. It just arcs over onto it.
I was gonna say there is something special about that S coil. I call it a scroll wrap. It is
scroll wrap. That's the perfect way to put it. I like that better, to be honest.
It's a scroll wrap, and it's a scroll wrap of one way and one the other way. You know what I mean? So like you're not just scrolling it like a binocular looking shape. You got one going this way, and then you got one going the other way.
I mean, it's such a simple idea, but the whole idea of it is that you wind it from the center as opposed from side to side, and it's flat and two-dimensional. So it's taking the electrical potential vector, it's creating interference patterns with itself, and then by the time it reaches the center, it's in a constant fight against itself like this, and then it's just chucking the shit out, on a two-dimensional plane, and it's like, well, there you go, there it is. And then you start nutsing around with that, and it's whacking the quartz and stuff, and then the quartz is like, you know what I mean? And then,
we have to talk backstage, because there's really something there. And like there was it was probably a couple months ago on a past stream where I had some tonsil issues, and I had to live chat, and I was feeling really lousy, and I showed how to increase the capacitance of an electret, and that's the scroll wrap is important for that. If that makes sense to you. But I wasn't actually I was in chat, and I showed mushrooms and rainmakers, because rainmakers, like, imagine back in the day they used to shake these things and it did produce an electric charge, and then all of a sudden, like, oh my god, there's a cloud above us, like, oh, it's a rainmaker. And then you got the ferro rods. You've heard of ferro rods, right?
Yeah, the two little rods, you look like metering rods, or what do you call them? They look for the water.
One's made of copper and one's made of zinc. And those two minerals are like micro minerals that's important for your body. They say copper is for beauty and zinc is for men. Like, every time you ejaculate, you expend a lot of zinc. So it's important for men to get zinc. So it's like zinc's like a male.
Man, I thought I heard you wrong. I guess I didn't.
No, you didn't. And I was going to say unfortunately, but fortunately, I mean, I know exactly where he's going with this. So, I mean,
you can't go down that road.
Look up ferro rods is all I'm going there with. And when you look at ferro rods, you'll see what I'm saying.
Oh no, I understand completely. I just don't want to go down that road. That's pretty funny though.
That's
You caught me off guard.
the two other sides of that exact topic are just way too deep to be starting at 2 hours and 30 minutes in. Like, I mean, we could cover that another day, and then make like other podcasters, and instead of saying words like that, instead of saying the full word, you just say ejaculate.
Just like to run over the edge of the cliff there. Yeah.
As long as the E isn't in there, you're fine, you know?
like America without the A.
Exactly.
Wow.
All right.
But you know what? Surface level enough. This is the duality that we discuss, right? It's always the two sides to every coin, the male and the female, this energy, that energy, the hot, the cold. There's two sides to every single coin.
Yeah.
Knowing what's on the other side of any given thing is imperative.
Yeah, I agree.
You know? So
I would say that the neutral hole matters. I've always been a harper of that.
Did you just say the mutual hole?
Yeah, the neutral hole matters, man.
Oh, neutral.
Like on my power supply, I got
thought
a
you
little
said
green.
mutual like we were sharing it.
Oh no, not mutual, neutral.
Listen, I've seen videos like that. I don't think that's for me.
Oh my god, Nathan. You're silly, man.
I don't think that's for me.
Yeah, I'll skip that one too.
Oh wow.
Hey, but at least Mike Faraday is coming on tonight, so I'll be tuning into that and seeing how the League of Extraordinary Inventors are doing.
Right on. Mike's awesome, man.
Yeah, I like Mike.
I really like Mike.
I've been a fan for a while.
Yeah, he hasn't popped in a little bit too. He used to do that every so often, but that's when we were on Saturdays though. Now he's tied up, you know.
We used to have the Wizard pop in. We used to have like Gerald the Wizard, like
yeah, but you know, nobody knows what happened to Victor though. Victor like legitimately was on the show and then has not been present whatsoever.
You know,
Well,
he
got his computers fried, a couple of them, and it pissed him off. I know that.
Mm.
So I think that's what it was. He got hooked up in the wrong. I don't know, downloaded something wrong from the wrong person, I guess, and it fried his computer. It happened to me twice. So I got the same thing, and he just said it's not worth it, probably.
And poor Bernie's been dealing with that here lately too. You know, it's just part of the territory, man. The more we disclose, the more we got to protect our stuff. Like I've got plenty of backup files and even notepads, but gotta do what you gotta do, you know. But yeah. Bernie, hey man, if they're trying to shut your camera down and stuff, I mean, you're at least on something that they're wanting to suppress, and I think that you should just let it out. And from the past videos I've seen, he's been doing that. So
you shouldn't. The moral of the story is this: if you really feel that that's what's going on, then do a pre-record and then post it, because then the camera cutting out thing doesn't happen.
Well,
yeah, I mean,
you do know that if you took the projects I work on and you took the stuff Jarvis works on and you can understand them together, then you take the stuff that Bernie works on, you're really in that area of reconstructing matter where you really get in a lot of trouble real fast, because there are certain elements out there, I'll say it like that, that are material that you can build out of it and easily transform them from one to the next. And they don't want that information out. I stay away from it on this show because it's just a bad thing, and they hit you pretty hard for that.
Yeah,
well, no, listen. You could just put something in the chat and we'll address it. I'm being dead serious. Thank you so much.
Thank you again. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's read it. I really think your experiments are answer powering projects and truly isolated tests. Thank you for all your work on my business. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just so you know, without naming
we
names,
gotta give this guy some.
this isn't something
We
that
gotta
rhymes
give
with
this guy some
in
good
Forbes.
members content, though. You know what I mean? Let's really do
We,
that.
we do.
Let's give him
But
some good member content
I'm
because he
throwing it out there though, right? The show doesn't rhyme with smashed in Forbes, okay? Where like the only way to get your comment read here is by donating money. So, you know,
No.
I
type
will
it a
say
couple
this.
times, we'll probably press it.
I really thank you for it, though. Every dollar helps, man. Thank you.
Yeah, that
That's
is
awesome.
cool.
And I think focusing on good member content, like you guys deserve it. If you're going to be a member like that, like I will work hard to do what I can. There's certain things in my life that like prohibit me. That's why I needed a partner, and Sean's a great partner. But anytime anybody needs help and I can help them, I'm going to try to make the time for it. And I do get a lot of questions, you know what I mean? But it's all about the members. That's really what, and I want to give them good content, and behind the scenes type stuff is really where it's at. And there's only certain things we can say here.
Our people know what we'll do for them, considering the amount of anal aggravation that Nathan is definitely going to face in about 5 hours, just to put a smile on your face, like plain simple and period. Not to mention building coils to send out, which is awesome. So
Yeah. Hey Nathan, how did you get rid of the spice in your mouth?
Oh, I had a ton of ice with that blue stuff earlier, and that helped out a lot. But dude, it was just time. You can only cool it so much. It was time. So,
dead fish. Yeah, we are on X. I don't know if that was directed toward us or somebody else, but if that was the question, we're on X.
Yeah, I need to upgrade my membership again to get back on Facebook with our show, because
I'm on Rumble
watch
too.
it there.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm on
Rumble X, the whole nine.
Yeah, we got Rumble on there. The only people that message me on Rumble are looking as an advertiser to advertise our show, which would be fine, but I don't have $2,000 to give them. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's one thing to say, hey, I can do it and I can take a percentage of what you make. That'd be cool. But to give you a couple grand, dude, I'm just not there.
Well, the thing I like about Rumble is YouTube has so many fake videos that it's hard to find true engineers like us. Like they get millions of views and we get really a diminished amount compared to them. We're drowned out from the fake stuff. But on Rumble, it's a new platform where all these fake things aren't saturating our exposure. So we can have a better exposure on Rumble because we don't have to combat with all the gimmicks, the scamming going on. We're not about that. Like we're only the real deal. Like we'll tell you honestly, and these scammers will do whatever they can for money. And on Rumble, you don't have that whole swamp going on. So I think at one time it could be beneficial to switch to Rumble because you're not going against all that BS.
Well, we stream to Rumble as well, just so you know.
Yeah. And we've wanted to do Rumble specific episodes, stuff that we just simply have tried and cannot say here, because like it would be just super beneficial. But the fact is that there's just not enough viewership there to like.
Not yet,
not. Well, it's not yet, but it's also been not yet for a year. So,
a year.
Yeah. So how long it's been going on.
The thing about Rumble is you can choose a subscription where they'll promote you through YouTube as well. So even though you don't choose the exclusive Rumble membership, but choose the one where they'll promote through YouTube too. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be the exclusive Rumble deal.
Yeah, no, I get it. Look, the bottom line is I'm just not in that position. I'm very thankful for those out there who have bought coils. You put me in so much of a better position in order to help people. Like, for instance, giving these 2 coils away is directly funded by the coils that I sold. So, I mean, that's just kind of like passing it down the road. You know what I mean? Here you go. You guys helped me out, took care of my situation. I'm helping you guys out, getting these things out there. And I always put the STL files out there for free. I'm not trying to hide anything. I'll tell you exactly how to build it. Not a problem. As long as you're learning, dude, I'm happy. You know what I mean? That's what this whole thing's about. And I
mean,
get more
for what it's worth,
excited.
you know, as much as we knock it on YouTube and stuff, like, you know, how bad like the censorship aspect of it is probably not the best considering, but you know, as far as like actually suppressing the material and so on and so forth, we know that the stuff that we discuss is highly controversial. We know the stuff that we talk about is fringe and, you know, probably not stuff that people want out there. But I think that any channel that's capable of growing, you know, to almost 8,000 subscribers in 1 year's time, because when I started coming on here, Nathan had about 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Right, he had about 1,000 subscribers. He's up 7,000 subscribers since I've been coming on over the last 10 or 11 months.
77, I think, away from
Wave.
8,000.
Let's make a wave, guys.
So right, so I mean, honestly, any channel growing by, you know, 7,000 subscribers in 1 year is not a bad gig. Like that's not. I mean, it's not a million, but it's
Just kidding.
small either. So
You know, like the baseball game where it goes around with a wave.
Yeah.
No, but Nathan, he's been the anchor. He's been really setting down. He worked so hard to have a platform like this. Like he's a boss. You know, he's really one of the only people that provide this type of platform. You know, so you got to appreciate that.
So you ask how much is when I imagine you're asking about the coil. I sell them for $280. That comes with the PMP circuit, with the coil, with the rod down the center, all of that. You just have to provide the power source. If you don't have one, it's $40 for the power source from Amazon. I charge you just what they charge me. The cool thing about buying it from Amazon is you get the warranty from them. You know what I mean? And with these Tesla coils, you may want the warranty. So that's why I leave it out there in that way, because if you buy it from me, I can't offer you the warranty that they would. So that, and trust me, I've blown out, 2 power sources here in not too long with this circuit because it's so powerful. But yeah, if you want something like that, absolutely hit me up on my email. I'll leave it in the chat and I can get you one right away. As a matter of fact, that you can see the next one over my shoulder, the gold one back there. I have that one sitting here ready to go.
I think one of the coolest things is the PMP power supply that he's given with the Slayer exciter there. Like, yeah, a Tesla coil is a Tesla coil, but it matters how you run it too. And Nathan's an expert when it comes to the PMP, so that's really awesome right there, man. That's cream of the crop.
Well, you know, they sell the PMP with the NPN as a match set. And they're the same voltage, the same amperage, and the same temperature reading.
But it matters, you know.
Oh, so I was going to say, the voltage you can push this one to is 40 volts with the PNP. The other one, you can only push it to 30 volts, and the temperature starts to get too high. So it tells you which one's cooler, right? So you're like, okay, now we see what's going on here, right? I can push more power with a PMP all day long because the only heat in it is the resistor for the 47K ohm that I put into it. Other than that, it stays pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah. And, you know, Gerald used to say, too, just think of it one way and flip it over, you know, something similar. You know, and it's true. I mean, the mobile charge carrier is an electron. Just think of it as a Fermi gas. You know what I mean? Just think of it as a Fermi gas. You can compress it and expand it, and you can get like heat and cold. And PMP is important because what you're doing is you're expanding that current into a high potential. You know, you're expanding it into a vacuum, basically. A positive charge is eliminated of electrons. So when you switch that positive, you're literally expanding it back into the battery, and it cools the battery. And there's been people that can cold boil batteries. There's been Dini and Friedrich and stuff like that. But just think of the charge carry as electrons, and
Yeah.
and
So
it makes
what-
sense.
One of the next things I'm going to do is the circuit I have in my bench I've been wanting to get to after I built these coils was the NPN that works like a PNP with the neon light instead of a resistor, so I can remove the heat and put it into my rodent coil.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the next one I'm working on. I got the transistors that came in.
If I may, if you're going to go that route, I would use the SER instead of an NPN, though.
Well, I already bought the NPN.
Okay, but
I had the circuit for it.
I just recommend.
Okay.
Hey guys, want to bring in some of the chat real quick before I forget, because I've been racking up comments in my head at this point.
Go ahead.
Couple things. Okay, so let's see. Deadfish, awesome that you bought the book. Glad somebody did. We're gonna have to get together on that book. Is Stalking the Wild Pendulum, Isaac Bentov, highly recommended. As I had said, I'm super happy you picked it up, man. I think if anybody's gonna get some good appreciation out of that, it's you. So that's awesome. Winona Ryder had kind of asked while you were talking about the Tesla coils, whether it works off of the same concept as Birkeland currents. I mean, it does and it doesn't, because at the end of the day, the Birkeland currents are a portion of a toroidal flow pattern as they manifest on Earth. Tesla coils work off of compressed and offset toroidal flow patterns, as we've discussed numerous times before. Where moving the primary coil, geometrically to the center would make it be more polar in its toroidal flow pattern nature, more similar to Earth, but the way that it's currently set up, it's asymmetric. So you have a greater compression zone than decompression zone. So does it work with the same concept?
I would say, like Nathan said before, when you have it asymmetric like that, it's more like of a earth pump.
So right. So it is a little different, but like the hard thing for me is that I have what I like to believe at least is a little bit of a bigger scope picture of things. Like I have the personal ability to really pull pretty far back and like kind of see. So I kind of believe like everything's sort of the same, like everything's sort of the same. So yeah, I mean, it's all directly related through that lens.
Have you heard of telluric current? Have you heard of telluric current?
I have. Off the top of my head, I don't have good recall on the details, though.
So back in the day, they used to use earth batteries for telegraphing using telluric current, which is a natural current that always happens in the Earth's surface. So you can literally, instead of pumping oil, you can pump telluric current with an asymmetrical Tesla type of thing that Nathan, if you do see it as a pump, you know what I mean? You're on the next level.
Dude, the pump is a perfect description for this.
And that's why a plate's good, because the plate can literally intercept the telluric current. You got to look up telluric current.
Well, like any good pump, right? The nature of it is that you're going to take a lot in, and then your push out's going to be quick. That's what makes it. That's what pressurizes it. That's what gives you the juice, so to speak. So the asymmetry of it is pretty critical.
Whenever you pull up a pump, you're getting a positive kind of way to go. So it's the potential, and then you got a one-way check valve to push it down. It goes this way instead of back down into the earth.
All right, couple more comments before we go down other rabbit holes, because
that's kind of
we'll go as long as we want, right? All right. John, who said it? It was somebody. See, now we went too long on these things because now I don't remember what we're doing. Somebody said something about hot sauce and is spirit cooking. Yeah, basically, we drank the blood of Satan, bro. Like, I ain't saying that's cool or anything. you know,
At least it gets your endorphins.
like not recommended.
It's a good way to get your endorphins going too, though.
But like, yeah, okay, yeah. I've seen the Epstein shit. I know what you're talking about.
I don't know about that.
Well,
Yeah, we're
anyway.
not going down that road.
No, that'll be another day. And then I think Winona Ryder had another one, but I kind of lost it. There's a lot going on. So anyway, oh wait, it was something about. Oh yeah. They said something about that it has to do with spooky action at a distance. aka quantum entanglement. I have theories on quantum entanglement that because the word quantum seems to be a triggering word for some people in this group. I've tried to stay away from it, but I have my theories on it that I'm more than willing to share, just not at this point in time because.
Well, maybe we can have a live show on that. I mean,
I think right. That's what I'm saying. That's definitely a subject matter that we should touch on because it actually plays right into my own theories of when you look at the collapse of energy to matter and the states of energy and how they kind of coalesce and different forms and everything. I think that the offset deconstructive interference that occurs and leaves both nodal and antinodal remnants, is mechanism for entanglement. But that's a very, very very dense sentence.
Yeah, before
just to leave you with, but
before diving into this, do you think a shadow can travel faster than light?
Well, I mean, bro, why are we going to like?
Yeah, we'll talk about it later, but it's something to think about.
Why are we going to existential questions that you're going to make me have to think too hard about right now? Like,
before we get to that conversation, though, it's something to.
The fact that I'm even willing to tackle that question is credence to the awesomeness of this show.
Yeah, but it's cool to think about.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Mike Faraday is going to have a show coming up here soon in about an hour, about an hour.
I think he's got another hour.
I saw him in chat earlier.
Yeah. Oh, he always likes to mess with me about the holes because, dude, he had this. What was it? He had this speaker thing, right? It was a big circle, a bunch of wire, right, wrapped around it, toroidal, whatever, transformer is what it was. And he's all proud of it, showing it off, right? So I mess with him. I go, Mike, you got a pretty big hole there, right? In the next Star Trek episode, Joe's talking about throwing hot dogs through the hole in the thing. It was hilarious.
You got some sausage?
Yeah, every time he comes on, man, he always asks me about the holes.
Go play it.
It was classic.
You have it? We're almost at 3 hours. We could wrap it up with the good old Star Trek throwback. Today's been a fun episode.
Star Trek was where it's at, dude. That's what one of my favorite things you had going on back then, dude.
I asked Nathan specifically, and it was last minute. I said, put together a Star Trek episode about me, you, and the hot wings and the weight loss. I was like, it'd be hilarious, but we weren't able to throw it together in time. These things take too much time.
You can tell he hustles, you know what I mean? Like,
he's a hustler, man, big time.
Man. If he doesn't have time to do it, he just doesn't have time to do it,
Well, hold on. I thought the whole thing would be better, to be honest with you, if we simply do it after the hot wing contest, because then all the right words would be in there and we could start doing it really well. And Ben showed up and hung out with us and everything.
Gives you content. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true.
So I'm looking for it. I found the schmucks. The flex your dishes. That was hilarious, by the way.
Well, Schmucks was the hot dog episode.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, you know what? You're probably right. Hold on. Give me 1 second then.
I was going to try to do a schmuck emoji, but I'm in StreamYard. I can't do it.
Here, I'll drop one for you. Oh, we don't have the schmuck emoji anymore, do we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
Nope.
No,
we don't.
Okay.
No.
All right, you
I'll
ready?
tell you which one we do have is this one.
Here we go, guys. Attention, crew. This is your captain speaking. Can I please have everybody assemble at the view screen? Admiral Jack would like to address everybody at once. Admiral Jack, would you like to address everybody?
All these wannabe schmucks, they have a keyboard and they can get on the internet, so that suddenly they're experts.
Did he just call us all schmucks?
Schmuck.
Schmuck.
You're not a schmuck.
I was microdosing mushrooms.
Yeah, mushroom.
That day. Not today, but that day I was.
Admiral Jack, we tried to get our transporters fixed. We reached out to the physics community for help. What do you think about it?
I think they're idiots. I think that when it comes to physics, okay, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And anybody who pays any attention to them, gives them any credibility, is stupider than they are. That's what I think.
Man, those people in physics sure didn't rub Jack the right way.
Given the chance, Jack will rub your grandma in the right way. Don't you worry about that.
Rub your grandma the right way. Oh my.
Oh yeah, I agree. I
Much
totally
luck,
agree.
Adam.
It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit, okay?
Admiral Jack, maybe you can help us out with another thing. Joe tried to cook his hot dogs in the warp drive, and he screwed up something with the mass.
And he's made some very elementary mistakes.
Oh
He
no.
violates Einstein's equation equals mc squared. He doesn't know the difference between the mass and the gravitational field, that the weight of an object is W equals mg.
You all heard the Admiral. Let's get this toroid out and let's get everything fixed.
Well, just an example, the inside of the toroid, that's about 3-inch diameter, 3.5-inch diameter.
Was I right to say it's about 6 inches in diameter altogether?
Yeah, maybe a touch bigger. Yeah.
That's a cave.
That's a big hole, Mike.
Don't go there.
It's Canadian. There's 3 holes.
All right. So you're gonna hook it up, and then we're gonna throw hot dogs through it like a carnival did.
Oh my God, I'm choking.
This is what happens when you have me on. Don't we already know this?
Yeah.
At least Gerald ain't drawing the circuit for it.
Good old titty circuit.
Oh my God, we sound like a bunch of schmucks.
Schmuck.
Schmuck.
You're not a schmuck.
Don't tell me about what other schmucks say. Only I'm the big schmuck here, okay?
Oh.
All right, we got one more in us.
Yeah, dude, we got
Tell me about what schmucks say. I'm the biggest schmuck here. Okay.
Hold on, we'll leave this to Jarvis. Do you want shrooms, or do you want when we blew off Leonard Bot's penis?
I like the shrooms, man.
All right, do
Okay,
the
hold
shroom.
on. I'm gonna do a quick one.
Leonard
real
Bot's
quick.
good too, though. But I do like the shrooms.
Real quick, I just gotta say thank you to Ricky out there, man. Thank you for gifting the membership, man.
That's awesome,
brother.
dude. Thank you.
Thanks. That's
Dude,
awesome.
okay, I
Loads
gotta
of
thank
generous
Gerald.
people out there today, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. There you go. Holes. He knows what's up. We got to play Gerald Circuit because it was hilarious. And then we could do the shrooms, if that's all right with you guys. So I think it's a pretty quick episode. Gerald, this is your captain speaking. Please report to main engineering. We're having a problem with the circuits in our main deflector dish ever since we had the remodel.
But again, not every coil works with every circuit, like you said, right?
Yeah.
You have to play with different circuits in your coils to get the system properly running.
Okay, Gerald, why don't you just step up to the whiteboard here and show us exactly how this circuit's supposed to work?
So, power source, battery,
Right off the bat.
the negative goes to the coil. Signal generator, positive goes to
I love Gerald, but he's not good at schematics.
the emitter. Now that I used for a regular pulse. But I drew it wrong because I was drawing. I know what I drew wrong here.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
Gerald, this circuit doesn't look right at all.
I apologize, everybody. What I drew here was the circuit with a horizontal deflecting transistor, and I will just change it really quick. Okay, so yes, like this.
I not for nothing, but those little diode things, those are like a little low.
I'm still thinking about that
You
circuit.
should be like up a little more.
No, I drew it.
Oh, you do it again?
Not really, but kind of.
Because we love you, Gerald.
Gerald, I'm so glad you got that circuit fixed. Man, the additions that you made to the front deflector dish really look nice.
Oh, cut.
Thank you, Deadfish for gifting those memberships, man. That's awesome. Yeah, we're just having a blast with this today, man. It's great.
Yeah.
You guys are so
Yeah, thank
generous.
you.
Thank you, guys.
You're rocking it out,
And
man.
you're more than welcome, man. We were very excited to see it was you that won. So
I just want to see the crystal in the center when he does that, man, because that's just amazing.
Oh, okay. He said something
Eli
earlier. I want Nathan to comment on this. He said, I want to put it as close to the bottom to see how hot it gets. Listen, it's my advice, at least, that if that's what you're looking to do, you know, that you probably just build yourself like an induction coil, you know, and then try to heat it up that way because, you know, you're going to have a lot more mass to an induction coil to
Well,
avoid
if you're trying to
burning.
heat it up, use a Peltier device, and then you can get cold on the other side.
There you go. So, like, I just don't know how effective it would be. So, Nathan, correct me. Like, it'll get hot, but I don't think as hot as he wants. And chances of you making a mistake and actually frying it is probably a lot higher the deeper you go.
It was
So-
cool when Elijah
the cir-
attacked. Though he did the blow dryer to heat it up. Do you remember that?
The circuit's too fast.
Mm.
It won't allow it to heat. There's not enough in there unless you
That's true.
screwed it up, but it's a Slayer cider, so it's
Thermal
self-oscillating.
conductivity has a certain speed.
You would need a ZVS to do it.
Yeah, so there's more effective ways to do that. There's other stuff to do with the quartz that I think is just as interesting. I just don't know that that's the application if you're looking for red hot.
Dude, take the rod down the center, put a wire to it, wrap it around the quartz, and put it in water and see what happens.
Why
There you
not?
go.
I mean, do it that way. Put it through the water so you be safe to yourself. You know what I mean? But don't use the number 2 coil to do it because then you'll really be in trouble. You don't want to do that. But use the rod down the center to do it. So it's less heat altogether so that when it's in the water, you're not getting conductive water. You're getting non-conductive water so you can put your hand in it.
Yeah,
So-
I would try to use distilled water because deionized water is expensive and it's expensive to make deionized water.
Oh, dude, if you're doing this experiment, just try it with regular water first because you're going to be all right.
Yeah. I mean, why not? But if you're gonna stick your hand in it, don't use regular water. Like, just in my opinion,
I use regular water every day, man.
that's
As
cool.
a matter of fact, dude, I cut
That's
an
cool.
orange in
But
half.
you know what you're doing, though. I'm not trying to say.
Hey, he's a smart guy though, and
Yeah.
we'll make
I'm
ourselves
just saying
available
the
for
average
anything he
viewer,
wants
if
to
they're
do.
listening to this and they're like, I'm going to stick my hand. He knows what he's doing. Nathan knows what he's doing. Only if you know what you're doing, you can do that type of thing. But don't take regular tap water with other experiments. You know what I mean? Just to put it out there.
Okay, well, when you get the coil, just contact me. We'll do a face-to-face and we'll just rock it out, man. We'll get it done and we'll walk through it together. So, all right, guys, let's do one more Star Trek thing. We wanted shrooms.
Oh boy, here we go.
Joe, can you please report to the transporter room? We need to go back to the planet where you found your strange rock. Bernie's going to meet us down there. Mike, transport us down.
You have 3 holes. One is ground,
Never gets
That's my
old.
favorite one.
or the
Never
Mike,
gets
do
old.
3 holes.
2 holes,
Three
or,
holes.
or is one bigger? Put one prong in the ground and the other prong in the smaller hole. That's your hot one.
Is he daydreaming again? Hey, Mike, transport us down to
Funny
the
'cause it's
surface, please.
true.
Okay, Joe, where exactly did you find this strange rock?
And I could sense it. So like I'm very attuned to it. I could like sense it as soon as I like start fumbling around with it. I'm like, up there it is, you know.
Well, let's keep moving down the river to the cave where Bernie is. Oh man, look at all these magic mushrooms.
All right.
Joe, have you ever eaten any of these things?
Psychologically, you know, having high amounts of that crap around wasn't the best for me. You know, like it would, you know, always kind of grab me, and I'm like, oh yeah, all right, that, you know, and this kind of did that, and it was
I love the trail journey.
very, very intense, and it wasn't bad.
Well, after careful consideration, I say we eat some of this stuff.
Yeah, why
see
not?
what happens.
After careful consideration,
Wow.
maybe we should
Instant
make
brain fart there.
Are we still in the cave? Why is everything moving? What's going on, guys?
Direct
Eat it,
departure.
dude.
You know, the 90% of the brainwashed most senior epic legends and pillars.
What the hell did he just say? Oh my God, I'm tripping balls, man.
You know, I'm deep into meditation, you know, and you know, some different spiritual aspects and stuff like that of you know, metaphysics.
Oh,
And you know, I could tell you, I mean, these things they do have, you know, psychological effect, you know, as far as that stuff goes. And
my lips aren't moving, but I'm still talking. Must be an inner monologue. Awesome.
Oh,
We want to turn it on. We want those effects. We want our mind to work the machine. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So we can figure out how exactly to do it.
Spinning the rotation aspect, that is now one dynamic of open system adding to it.
so it's like, oh well, I mean, what's the difference? It's like, because things don't do this.
Yeah, that's why.
That's why. You see, like, yeah, it's subtle. You're running your finger across something and you're feeling it starting to skip on the surface, but it's smooth.
It's such a
You
vibe.
know, it's like things don't do this, and this does this. And yes, it's subtle, but it's there. You know, but then there's the more extreme examples. You know, like the thing, you know, taking a lift off, you know, and it's like it just slipped out of your hand.
Oh my God. I can hear Joe in my head
this part.
and Bernie in my head, but their lips aren't moving.
Like
And
a
then
sack of
you
potatoes.
add that spinning
Push it this way, it
to
goes that way.
other
You push it this way,
aspects,
it
like
goes that
bringing
way,
in
and
radiant
the thing
energy
isn't going to
from the
exert
environment,
its own
like if it's
force
endothermic
out
cooling
of my
or
hand.
from a plasma, right? All these other aspects that
You
you
know,
start
like,
combining those
this was
dynamics
doing
of extra energy
was forced
in
down
that
like a
you're
sack of
able to
potatoes
get the
to the ground.
exponential gains
And I
in your
couldn't move.
system.
You have 3 holes. You have 3 holes. You have 3 holes. You have 3 holes. You have 3 holes.
Oh my God. There's no more holes. There's no more holes. There's no more holes. Mike, beam us up.
Boss.
You're right, Nathan.
Yeah, I'm living right now. I'm barely breathing. Oh
Nathan,
my.
I was thinking of the one with the Wizard of Oz kind of dream things. Maybe next time. Like, I love that shroom one, but which one is the one where you were like a Star Trek guy in the Wizard of Oz kind of?
Oh, that's part 2 with the gold lady.
Okay.
Hey, real quick, I didn't say one Winona Ryder again, man. $20. Thank you, man.
That's huge, man. That's awesome. I mean,
Please
same
have-
answer as before. Like, that's definitely something we ought to try, right?
Dude, Winona Ryder, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Um,
Read his question real quick. Please try to have one of your coils power something isolated like a vacuum sphere of a mirror.
Like
I think it's part of the answer. Well, I think you're right.
Yeah. In fact, Nathan was playing with a dynamic version of something like that, although it wasn't to do with mirrors. When he was playing with the gravity well, which is still work in progress at this point with a few setbacks. It all had to do with separation, isolation of the fields, and then introducing vectors of spin into it, creating torsion zones as well. So I would absolutely positively agree with you. That seems to be you're right on the right track with that. The mirrors is probably a less mechanical and more intuitive way to accomplish a version of the same thing. I think that having a pure sphere of mirror is the complicating factor. That in itself is,
even having the
that's
mirror
tough.
to visualize electric fields and stuff. The engineering of the mirror, yeah. But you can actually get these stick-on like mirrors, and maybe do like a cylindrical thing, like a Cozy Rev.
But the thing about it is that without, I think the only thing you could really get away with in that case would be like an equatorial seam. You could probably get away with that. But if you were to make it out of non-concave mirrors, your refraction is going to be all screwed up. And every time there's a space, there's going to be digital angles of refraction. I think that the angles of refraction would ultimately lead to unwanted deconstructive interference at those gap zones.
Use the mirrors for a focus point, though, right? I think that because normally when you use mirrors, you want to focus some sort of, parabolic type of midpoint.
Is he trying to focus light or resonance?
Well, there's several things you could focus with parabolic type of mirrors, depending on what you use as the mirror. Silver is good, but it's expensive, especially doing a cylindrical silver.
You can get away with polished steel or aluminum, frankly.
Aluminum's the easiest way to do it. Yeah.
And then you also have aluminum's, material factors in play too. We know that it likes to hold the fields in, compress them anyway.
Right. It's like the opposite of silver. Silver is way on the other side of the reactive.
Way on the other side. I think polished aluminum is the way to go, and that falls right in line with like Kozarev mirrors too, and being able to twist the fields.
Do you think use aluminum? Did Cozy Rev use aluminum? Do you know?
Kozarev used aluminum, yes. Okay. Aluminum sheet plates.
Okay. Yeah, because you can polish it up.
But I've seen the mirrors that they had that were not like privately built for testing, like the ones that he actually built, and they actually had domed aluminum lids on them. It was actually more of a chamber than than just an open top spiralytic.
I'm a little lost. What is he trying to achieve with the mirrors in this concept? Because I get the resonance portion.
I would say a focus.
What is he focusing? Is the resonance making a light, or because usually mirrors associated with light? So
okay,
that's what I'm doing. Where am I wrong?
When you put something inside a spherical mirror, okay, it's a wildly fascinating thing because what you're dealing with is 100% perspective-based refraction. So every different point is a different result. Okay, meaning that you could look into the mirror at any given point and see something entirely different, depending on just simply the point of observation. Now, if you take away point of observation for a second, just because I mentioned point of observation, so you could visualize what I'm saying. Okay, if you take away point of observation and substitute that with vector emission, and then realize that there's a reflective element, you're basically coming out with a dispersion that's going to center up at the same focal point. So what it does is it creates a locality non-locality differential based on at that point, you see, because you have this common center point, focal point, okay, where everything is reflecting back to. And then you also have this element of it where different points of emanation, okay, are acting as separate localities with different perspective.
But as it's doing that, your body's the body capacitance. So your body is like the holy temple and the focus of that. And if you can use your mind to shift, like he's saying, there's multiple different time frames that are potentially possible to tap into, but you have to use your body as the focus, and realize that your body is more important than just a lump of meat.
Okay. No, I
Jan
understand.
kind of hit it on the head. It's a simultaneous canceling and amplification with a common center focal point. Okay, but every other spot in the dome measurably would be the same and different simultaneously, depending on the perspective of the measurement. Get your head around that. It's that complex. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's that complex. So if you were to take what he was suggesting is taking what you're utilizing, being a Tesla coil that has its own offset, although a bipolar would probably work better in that scenario, I suppose. But
I
you're
would
using
say electric wrapped aluminum because it's photoelectric, but that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, so I mean, you're basically taking at that point, the emission of the outside of the toroidal, the asymmetric toroidal flow pattern, and then you're taking that center point and then superimposing it actually to the middle of the sphere without actually having an offset of the Tesla coil, which would then create two different center points and multiple different fields and field interactions. So live, I can't get my head around exactly what that means. Like if I sat down and actually thought about this for a moment, meditated on it, I might actually have a better response. But
I think it rips open the Akashic record.
Just give me a second.
I mean, right? If you were inside of that, you would be in some metaphysical shit.
I want to hear what
you'd
you're trying to say, Nathan. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, it's okay. I just have different ideas rumbling through my head. Okay, one, body capacitance. You can walk down a hallway, turn on any light based on your body capacitance if you had a coil set up to going there.
Like a Jedi.
Yeah, second one, you could literally coil inside of a coil inside of a coil inside of a coil with a focal point of aluminum as the center. I can make a phaser out of that. Okay, because I'm multiplying fields and then I'm using the aluminum itself to make the light. So it comes out as light out of there, just like a laser, but the phase differential between all of the different fields going on in there hits a point and it dissolves it. So you could do that. Okay, the other one is you set up the center coil here and you set up multiple coils around it and they're mirrored all the way around it. You set off the first one, every other one becomes a bipolar Tesla coil in that field and puts off multiple fields. So that's how I'm thinking of resonance with it, but mirrors involved in it. I'm trying to, like, if I want to mirror the resonance, I can in that aspect, but actual physical mirrors is where I'm kind of losing it.
Well, what the mirrors just try to focus different energies that could give a density of the energy at the focal point. And if you're located in the focal point and you guide it mentally, you may be able to access the Akashic record. Is what I get at that. But
okay. No, if you say mathematical mirror, then yes. Yes, we can start to go down that road. That's a lot more advanced than most people would get to, though.
Yeah, it's a conglomeration like white lights, all the wavelengths. You're at the focal point, but like controlling the ship, like Bernie was saying in the skit, you're the holy temple that guides where that goes, because it can go anywhere in the Akashic record. The Akashic record even goes into the future. It's
I'll be honest, if that's what you're looking to access, you just be, if you're disciplined in yourself, you ought to just find it internally, because it's probably easier to get there that way than through technology.
Assisted way.
When you're dealing with, when you're trying to look for the technology to unlock that same thing, because now you're talking about, once again, you're talking about expanding Planck scale, which is Think about that, because that's fascinating for a second. By
Yeah.
having this focal point and then widening it open and creating such time dilation, you've actually expanded the physical size and in the 4 dimensions of what the Planck scale is. So you maybe could fit in it and therefore access it. It just seems like an awful lot to go through for
Let me say
something
the
that if
Planck
you're
scale
disciplined, you can achieve.
doesn't matter, because you can take a length, height, and width as a cube, and there's no example of a cubical particle. There's no example of a cubical space. So even if you take the Planck's constant and made a circle, there's still going to be little bitty circles that you can fill in that space with, because you can't close pack spheres. And the universe is not made of cubes, it's made of spheres. It's a fractal geometry. So Planck's constant is not the limit. And I just have to say that because you can make a sphere out of Planck's constant and still get smaller spheres, and smaller spheres infinite.
No, it's a dimensional limit. And the way to think about it as a dimensional limit, if you think about like
there's
old
hierarchy
school,
of time.
right, exactly. So if you think about old school film where you're running a motion picture, right, there's this line in between in each frame, right? Well, in that line that you don't see when the film is running, right? There's no picture here or there, right? But now if you widen that line and then you would see it. But the point is that you don't here. So that's what this does. It would expand that line to actually be able to fit right in it. Basically once you're out, everything's on pause.
I have different thoughts about it, but
I suppose, but read the book, bro.
read the book. Okay.
Read the book.
No, it's cool. Like, I love disagreeing because, in my honest opinion, there's no such thing as a constant. All these figures that we put on nature are very.
Oh no, I would agree with you there. By the way, there's no such thing as a constant. But the fact is that
you're describing a unit system that's based off light is what Planck's constant is. It's a
right. Well, okay. So think about a constant in this. So let's go back to
I know physics, man. And I
hear you. It's not about a constant though. It's just about the space and time, like that particular space. That's all it is, because you overcome that constant with other variables.
Yeah, I'll agree to disagree, but we're cool. That's why it matters.
Oh no, listen, I'm not trying to convince you of anything, but you should really read the book.
What book? What book?
Stalking the Wild Pendulum. I'm going to say it over and over again. Read the book. That's a great book.
The Wild Pendulum?
Stalking the Wild Pendulum.
Okay.
I'll send you a link.
Hold on.
$11.
Like, honestly, please do. Sorry.
No. It's not that. It's what he's going into. So I can't talk about it a whole lot here. I can describe something to you in a very vague term. You geometry coil, sand, water, tube. Think Spider-Man where they got in the tube and it transformed. That's what you're looking for. If you want to turn on everything in your, we could do it. That's not a problem. It's all about the frequency and unlocking which one you want. If that's what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. See, I'm a little lost just on the mirror part, but on the actual building part, I could build, whichever direction you want to go. But that's pure resonance and understanding.
It's actually Joe that turned me on to the mirror. I didn't get that either until he mentioned Cozy Rev. And honestly, I've done extensive research, and Joe turned me on to the Cozy Rev mirror. But in all honesty, the true Cozy Rev mirror is like a spiral. It's not.
It is spiral.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it would spiral out. And it's supposed to take all this, they said they wanted to do it in Antarctica because the time was locked into the ice, and as the ice melted, it would release the time. And he literally thought time was being released from the ice and going through a spiral mirror. And these people would actually be afraid when they approached it. They couldn't control their emotions. Mm-hmm. And it's a very fascinating story, and thank you, Joe, for turning me on to that, because, dude, I should have known that, and you turned me on to that, so thank you.
Yeah, man, no, it's really, really cool stuff. It obviously, because it's a spiral, you know, the effect is inherently different, okay, because of the vectors that it's creating of the ether, okay? Like, that's sort of plain and simple with it. This isn't all, like with the sphere situation, isn't all too much different because it's the same concept, but it's a much more complicated equation because of the factors that I just said before. If you're thinking about it mathematically, because you know that there's a single focal point dead center.
Yeah.
Everything reflects back to that center point. But if you have something that exists outside of that direct point as a source of emission,
Right.
that means that there's multiple things going on there. You have one point that's constant, and then multiple other points that are perspective based depending on measure.
What if
That's
his
what's
thought?
interesting about it.
What if his thought was real? His hypothesis that the ice froze some sort of time to where these people, as the ice thawed, could look back into that time. That's what the original theory was.
Well, I mean, he was right. That was the original theory, but it developed to be something a little bit different than that because he realized that it had more to do with how close he was to the poles, or better yet, how far he was from the equator, as to the amount of potential that was available to be ultimately brought into it. AKA, there's more potential and it's not in Antarctica, by the way. They were running these tests in Siberia, so you're talking about the North Pole, which
and the accuracy increased as they went towards the pole, right?
Accuracy increased closer to the pole that you were. Also, electromagnetic storms and just overall, the electromagnetic measures of any given day would vastly have effects on how effective it was as well. But
I think we need to have
testing that they released was absolutely incredible.
This is another topic that we could probably have another show on. I just don't want to draw out the crowd too long, and but I mean, we can go there because Winona Ryder, dude, we owe it to you to try to discuss like what we think about what you're trying to say, and it is a natural, intuitive way of thinking that many people may not think about, but there are several different types of mirrors, and there's even like orgone type of areas you can go into that are similar, that accumulate the energy. So maybe like an orgone accumulator with the mirrors would be a crazy idea to try. And I just want to step into the shoes of Winona Ryder and just try to give my input on it, because it's cool that we have
something like that. Is actually a great point that you're making. And well, good thing about this channel is, well, we have an expert for that. Like,
yeah, cool.
Right, Center? You heard?
Yeah.
Center wrote the book.
Well, he's asking what's
Eighth Center is
Winona Ryder. That's the person in the chat's name.
Yeah. Eighth Center, though, he knows orgonite like nobody else.
No, he's proven that time and time again.
Yeah. And it's cool to learn about that stuff because it's an accumulation of energy that, like, if you sit into a chamber made of the orgonite material, like, you literally get colder, you get like your hair starts to stand up. Similar effects to Viktor Grebennikov with his anti-gravity craft. He would make something similar with beehives and put it above your head while you sat in a chair, and he would use a beehive structure to do some orgone type stuff. But there is some subtle orgone ether energy that, if you can accumulate it with the orgone and then you can cozy rev mirror and spiral it and do some crazy stuff, that seems like one of the most logical ways to get into the Akashic record artificially to me, if you were to try to do it.
Well, it also seems pretty cool to take an orgonite and then put an electrode directly on top of it and
Yes.
then do that.
That's
Frankly,
what I'll say. That like
You know what I mean?
we don't even know where electrics will go, but yeah, I've thought of this, bro. And I don't mean to
So-
be arrogant, but dude, I've had 10 years to think about where electrics will go. So yes, you're right.
I'll be honest with you. If you guys are looking at frequency to people, Tesla coil is the wrong, too high of a frequency. You need a geometry coil, and the experiment you're looking for is Tesla coil to mud. Is the experiment you're looking for? It's the reactance to the person to that mud and what happens. Like when you put the light bulb on, you see it get brighter. You take the light bulb away and you touch it, and the energy is all gone. It no longer transmits at a distance, which tells you where it's going. But you want to get that in a lower resonance. You don't want such a high of a resonance. That's sorry, I might be on a total different topic than you guys because I'm still dealing with the mirror.
Well, I agree because the video I showed of Tesla hitting the bell with a bat, he's hitting it at a low frequency, but the bell has its own natural frequency. You don't have to hit it at the frequency of the bell to resonate the bell. You just hit it at a slow frequency, and the slow frequency resonates the bell.
Well, sometimes the system that you're trying to hit will come back to you and resonate at your level.
It all matters about that resonance. You're absolutely right. It could either be constructive or destructive, and there's several, it's hard. Like I had to figure out the math of it, and it's difficult.
It's like two clocks. The pendulum swinging, they'll synchronize, is what you're saying. Yeah, I get it.
But the slow frequency is actually more powerful because you're bashing it. Boom, boom. You know what I mean?
Well, you're getting the full value out of it before you restart.
It's a slow, powerful boom. And it doesn't take ringing the bell at its frequency. Like I showed drumsticks, like trying to hit the bell at the same frequency with drumsticks, you're just wasting your energy. But if you were to just be like, boom, let it ring, boom, let it ring. Yeah, you get much more power out. It's not about trying to hit it at the same frequency of the bell. It's about using the frequency and hitting it at the right moment, like a swing. Once you hit it at the right moment, you let it ring, you get all that power just broadcasted for free.
Like
what? Wow, again.
Oh, dude. Joe Fuchsia's. No,
because think of the bell as a swing. If you push it the wrong time, it's deconstructive. You push it the right time, it's constructive. So if you do the bell in the same way, then hitting it at the right time is very important in order for it to get the full ring out before you whack it again.
You have to allow it to ring by itself and not try to ring it at its resonant frequency. You just bash it and let it ring, and then bash it at the right time again and let it ring.
Well, that's why in the ancient times they took what looked like a bell and sat it over a cave that was constructed underneath it, and it was essentially a resonance chamber, and it would ring that bell. And on each bell, there was a frequency diagram on it that looks just like it does on oh god, I lost the name now. On a mandala.
That's
so the pattern matches.
That's fascinating to me. Mandalas are really cool.
Mandalas are basically geometry coils. They just they have a pattern to them you can wind to. They have energy patterns that go to them. They have frequency patterns that go to them. All of them are tied up in one. That's why it looks so different.
Well, you got to remember something too, that once you emulate a mandala in a standing waveform, you've effectively made virtual matter, effectively, because you've now created a nodal lattice structure
or a crop circle.
Energy. Yeah,
I mean, a crop circle could be the same thing as a what you're saying, right?
Yeah. Well, big.
I gotta use the restroom, guys. I'm sorry.
Well, I think on that note, we've been 3.5 hours. I know Mike is gonna be starting up soon.
Yeah, just real quick, Joe, before we go, if you don't mind, let me find it and I will put up the winner again. Oh God, it was on Facebook.
Dead
That's
Fish.
right.
Dude. The Grateful Dead and Fish. Dude, Fish used to have the best guitarist in the world. I hate that he died, man. The other guy was pretty good, but there's nothing like a Fish concert. Oh my God.
No, I'm gonna be a prick and just say that I like hot tuna, man. That's been my jam.
Because again, the double meaning on that one. Yeah, we got it.
That's it. What's
Okay,
that
yeah.
smell like, fish, oh baby?
So we'll have to. Yeah, we got Dead Fish out there, man. Contact me on my email, and I'll have to contact Professional Code Dinger.
Wait a second. Is it a tie or no? Is he
Yeah,
second?
it was.
So,
One was.
So should you give both away?
Dude, I did. Both
Okay.
of them are getting coils.
That's cool.
So,
you're
Winona
gonna-
Ryder, we have seen wheels. We've seen fire. We've seen the AI whistleblower been forgotten. We've seen the Library of Alexandria burned down to the ground, and it makes the principal consciousness any different.
It was the worst travesty in history is the Library of Alexandria being destroyed, in my opinion.
What makes this pinnacle different? The idea that we have another chance to not screw it up. That's the only thing that makes it different, is that this pinnacle it's within that arm's length of a handshake away. And now is the time to determine whether it's going to work out for us or not. And that's a story yet to be told, right? And I think an interesting thing to point you to, I don't think I might have seen you in the chat like once before or something like that, maybe. But if you didn't check out our last week's episode, which was kind of connecting some dots of current events, linking talks that like Hal Puthoff had back in 1994 and realizing that things went on the shelf for all sorts of, personal and, personal financial gain reasons and things of that nature for decades, in order for certain things to be in play right now that may actually lead to a bigger picture here. So I just invite you to go back and watch some of that episode, and something we could touch on in the future, since it's still developing.
Well,
So the next time something pops up, we'll talk about it.
Not just that, as humans, we have the ability to finally understand it. You see, that's the whole thing. Before, the Great Flood, you would have, Atlantis, and they understand it in resonance and everything else. We have that same opportunity now. We didn't have it between that time period and now. So we're at the pinnacle of it. Even science knows that resonance is going to be key in the future of it to figure all of it out. That's the big point here. That's going to be the difference in whether we do it or not. Either we're going to understand it, or we're going to fail and end up getting washed out. And those are our choices. So
I believe it's a golden age. It's a golden age.
We started to go in space again. We're starting to do the right things. We're on the right trajectory, but are we fast enough? That's my concern.
Those were all the Iron Age and stuff. I do believe the Kali Yuga is going into a great time for us. And, not to despair or be frightened of the future. It's great times ahead of us. Beautiful things that you can't even think of right now that are going to be available. Just like if you're a cowboy and somebody had a smartphone, and you'd be like, what the hell is this? Dude, that's
the only difference that I could foresee is that, like, in that example, like if you're a cowboy and you see a smartphone, you're from 18 something and you see a smartphone, it's like magic, witchcraft, and you'd be like, well, what's the point? But if you explain to that individual what it is and what it does, it's like not scary at all. You know, it's very understandable.
Yeah,
Face value, this is the same, right? The only difference here is, and it's always been the same, is that it's the greed and the money.
That's
you know,
always
and that lead to the gatekeepers that keep the chains on everything and everyone.
That's why it's serious. Like, honestly, I do feel for Bernie because I've had similar things happen to me in the past, you know, where they try to gag me, and some things I'll consult and hush up. Being a patriot, being in the military and things, there's some things I won't talk about, you know what I mean? But everything we discuss is pretty open. You know, we're not discussing anything that's gonna like split the universe in two.
No, it's not like we're trying to like blast particles that near the speed of light into each other or anything like that. Not like direction. You know, assholes, fucking Europeans. Anyway, I digress.
That's
the funny thing is that you know that's probably entirely American funded, and they're like, just keep it away from us. Just keep it away from us.
Sounds like an American idea.
Do you think it's a coincidence that under Reagan they planned the biggest collider in the planet, and then all of a sudden it ended up somewhere in the middle of Europe? So saying, I'm throwing that one out there, you know. But you know,
Reagan,
you do with that information as you may.
Reagan was Star Wars too, so it does make you think.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Good show.
Let's get it going, man. Life's gonna start soon, so I just want to thank both of you guys for coming in, man. Jarvis, thank you. Then Joe, thank you. Guys, thank you for in the chat for hanging out with us. You got to see me in pain today and eat wings and no teeth, and man, what an experience. And to our two winners out there of the Tesla coils, man, congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you guys in the chat. Thank you guys for the donations, the memberships. Today was a huge day. That's
absolutely
incredible. It keeps things going, you know, and the generosity is wild. And, you know, as always, thank you very much to anybody who's donated to my cause as well. You know, that was very much always appreciated. And I hope to really get out there soon. The weather wasn't with me last weekend. So hopefully this weekend will be better. We'll see what it brings.
Right on, guys. All right. With that said, man, have a great night, guys.
Peace and love. Roll the creds.
The old man builds is broken in the head. People not seeing reality has put them in the red. Where conscious and spirituality been stricken from the norm and replaced with the ignorance of basic magnetic form. The geometry of God keeps running through his head. That's what makes old man builds broken in the head. The old man builds. The old man builds. Spheres of destiny are spinning in his mind, making him travel back and forth in time, battling the establishment for just a little recognition. Has him forcing the world to understand his premonition. That world will have all the technology in the end, even if it means his life will fail to extend. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. Fears of destiny are spinning in his mind, making him travel back and forth in time, battling the establishment for just a little recognition. Has him forcing the world to understand his premonition. That world will have all the technology in the end, even if it means his life will fail to extend. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. The old man builds. Fears of destiny are spinning in his mind, making him travel back and forth in time, battling the establishment for just a little recognition. Has him forcing the world to understand his premonition. That world will have all the technology in the end, even if it means his life will fail to extend. The old man builds.